So you would have seen in the lecture that professor would have told if the multiplicity is 1, so it just crosses the x-axis, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that concepts come into picture.
Okay. Now I got it, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I was talking about that thing, like how to maybe like who was asking me that?
सर क्या चीज?
हाँ.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, hi, good evening. So yeah, that's what I was telling कि अगर like अगर तुम्हें मतलब अगर अभी फेस कर रहे हो ऐसा प्रॉब्लम्स, नो नीड टू वरी, धीरे धीरे इस कोर्स में तुम सीख जाओगी, ठीक है? तो अभी अभी क्या कर सकते हो कि लाइक वर्ड प्रॉब्लम्स तो रहेंगे ही, क्योंकि ये
हाँ
एप्लीकेशन
सर, मैंने पिछली बार क्वालिफायर दिया था, मेरे
हम्म।
तीनों सब्जेक्ट में अच्छे नंबर आए थे, लेकिन मेरा मैथ से इसी वजह से रह गया था, क्योंकि उसमें मेरे ख्याल से आई थिंक 6 to 7 क्वेश्चन थे और इंटरलिंक क्वेश्चन थे कि कनेक्टिव क्वेश्चन।
सेम हियर।
अच्छा,
तो
तो
मुझे मैथ बहुत डर है।
एक बार
Me too.
क्वालिफायर हो
नहीं
जाएगा।
सर, दरअसल मैथ का डर इसलिए भी है ना, क्योंकि ये जो डेटा साइंस का कोर्स है, एक्चुअली मैंने मतलब मुझे डेटा साइंस में पकड़ है, मतलब कुछ चीजें हैं जैसे मुझे आती हैं, जैसे बिजनेस एनालिटिक्स की चीजें आती हैं और भी बहुत सी चीजें, लेकिन इसमें मैथ की वजह से जो है ना, मेरा आगे बढ़ नहीं पा रहा हूँ।
ठीक है,
तो वही
ठीक है, तो ओके, सो तो ठीक है, लाइक तुम्हारा एक जनरल प्रॉब्लम ये है कि लाइक वर्डिंग प्रॉब्लम जब रहता है तब डिफिकल्टी होता है, अदरवाइज मैथ्स इज प्योर, मैथ्स इज फाइन फॉर यू, है ना? ऐसा
हाँ सर, अगर जैसे मुझे कोई इक्वेशन दे देगा क्वाड्रेटिक की हो या पॉलिनोमियल्स की हो, तो जो जो चीजें सर ने सिखाई हैं वो सारी चीजें मैं निकाल दूंगा, इवन आंसर भी मैं दे देता हूँ। लेकिन अगर मुझसे वही कह दिया जाए कि इसको इक्वेशन के रूप में बनाओ, दरअसल लीनियर इक्वेशन बनाने में इसलिए इजी रहता है क्योंकि उसमें हमको एज अ स्लोप भी आता है निकालना, एज अ वाई एक्सिस एंड इंटरसेप्ट एंड जितनी भी चीजें होती हैं और सब आती है निकालना। लेकिन क्वाड्रेटिक में एक जगह मैं आके फंस जाता हूँ कि ये एक्स स्क्वायर क्या है, मतलब वो तो मुझे पता है कि ये क्वाड्रेटिक
हाँ, मतलब समझ रहा हूँ, हाँ।
फिगर, लेकिन बेसिकली वो क्या है, मतलब आप मतलब बता भी नहीं पाऊंगा कि मैं क्या पूछना चाह रहा हूँ।
हाँ, ठीक है, लाइक कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, लाइक अभी मतलब बस तुम ये करो कि जितना तुम्हें दिया जा रहा है वर्ड प्रॉब्लम्स, है ना, लाइक लेट्स से प्रैक्टिस असाइनमेंट, मतलब उसको सोचो कि हाँ इसमें किया कैसे गया है, राइट? एंड एटलीस्ट इतना कन्विंस हो जाओ कि मतलब व्हेन यू आर गिवन अ सिमिलर क्वेश्चन यू आर एबल टू सॉल्व इट, मतलब अगर सेम कॉन्टेक्स्ट अगर दिया जा रहा है, सेम स्टोरी लाइन ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस, तो तुम एटलीस्ट उसको सॉल्व कर सको, वैसे उतना प्रैक्टिस कर लो, है ना?
यस सर समझ
हाँ,
गया।
और तुम देख सकते हो कि लाइक बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस है ना?
हाँ,
एंड
क्वेश्चन तो बहुत है।
हाँ, तो ये सारे क्वेश्चंस मतलब अगर तुम कर ले रहे हो तो मतलब ये तो बहुत ज्यादा है, राइट? तो लाइक जितना भी कर पा रहे हो फॉर टाइम भी उतना ही लेके चलो, है ना? कुछ एक्स्ट्रा करने की भी ज्यादा जरूरत नहीं है कि जी हाँ क्या करें क्या ना करें, है ना? पैनिक होने की भी जरूरत नहीं है, बट जितना दिया जा रहा है उसको अच्छे से कर लो, है ना? एंड और कन्विंस करो अपने आप, लाइक कन्विंस इन द सेंस जैसे कि तुमने कुछ लेट्स से पॉलिनोमियल्स के बारे में पढ़ लिया, है ना? तो अब इसका एप्लीकेशंस क्या हो सकता है, कहाँ पे लगा सकता हूँ मैं? ऑफ कोर्स एक होता है कि डेटा साइंस का एप्लीकेशन आप लोग ढूंढने लगोगे, क्योंकि हाँ हम तो डेटा साइंस का कोर्स कर रहे हैं, तो उतना जल्दी अभी उधर मत जाओ, ऐसे सोचो कि यार ठीक है रियल लाइफ में अभी हम कैसे अप्लाई करेंगे, तो वैसे अभी सोच के चलो, सो दैट विल हेल्प, ठीक है? क्योंकि अगर तुम देखोगे कि सारे क्वेश्चन है वो मतलब तुम्हें कोई डायरेक्टली डेटा साइंस का क्वेश्चन नहीं दिया गया, राइट? जस्ट क्वेश्चन, तो तुम भी अभी वैसा ही लेके चलो, है ना? मतलब एक समझ लो, इसीलिए तो इसको फाउंडेशन टाइप बोलते हैं कोर्स, है ना, ताकि एक अपना फाउंडेशन थोड़ा सा बिल्ड हो जाए, उसके बाद जब अप्लाई करने की होगी तो हाँ ठीक है डेटा साइंस के फील्ड में अप्लाई कर लेना, है ना? तो लाइक जब अप्लीकेशन जब उधर करना होगा तो ज्यादा आसान पड़ेगा, राइट? बट जब तुम्हारा ये फाउंडेशन अगर क्लियर रहेगा तो तुम्हारा कमांड रहेगा उस समय जब तुम करोगे, right?
Actually, sir, the issue is that like the time was limited, so I have not gone through the course till now.
So even that is a thing.
Yeah.
It just comes one after the other, right? You know, like generally what I suggest is like since all these materials are already available on the YouTube, right? It's only that graded assignment you get it afterwards, right? Or like some questions. So like whenever you apply for this qualifier exams or something, like you do your some kind of homework, like try to do it like some part of it, you know, because as the week starts you will not have time, right? It's just one after the other, right? You don't get any week gap or something, or a 1 or 2 days gap or something, right? And you have
also still what should we do, like tomorrow is the deadline for the assignment and I have not gone through maths
okay
course.
So don't worry, we will do it all, like whatever it is going to come for your assignments in this, okay?
सर एक और डाउट है डिस्कोर्स को लेके, सर ये नहीं पता चल रहा कि डिस्कोर्स को कैसे हैंडल करें फोरम में। मतलब कितना टाइम हम लगाएं या उस पर रिप्लाईज दें?
ठीक है, लाइक मतलब अब जैसे कि आप टर्म टर्म स्टूडेंट हो, है ना, तो यू डोंट रियली हैव टू गो थ्रू एवरी क्वेश्चंस कि जो भी पूछा जा रहा है ना, मतलब जो जो आपको चाहिए सिर्फ उतना ही देखो, है ना। जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल मतलब आपने आपको कुछ ग्रेडेड असाइनमेंट में कुछ डाउट हो गया है ना, तो जस्ट एड्रेस दैट ओनली, जरूरी नहीं है सारे चीज को एड्रेस करना है। और यहाँ पे कंपटीशन नहीं है आप लोगों का कि आप कितना रिप्लाई कर रहे हो है ना। इट्स जस्ट द क्वालिटी ऑफ इट कि आप क्या कर रहे हो, है ना। लाइक अगर कोई किसी ने क्वेश्चन पूछ दिया सपोज, है ना, एंड इफ यू नो इट, तो आप उसको एक क्लूज दो, हिंट दो, है ना। वो एक
ओके।
चीज कर सकते हो आप, जैसे कि एंड इट्स मोस्टली लाइक ज्यादातर इट्स लाइक लर्निंग लर्निंग थिंग हैज टू हैपन रादर देन गिविंग सोल्यूशन एस्पेक्ट, है ना। तो वैसे सोच के चलना है। सो ठीक है, अभी स्टार्ट करते हैं। हाँ।
Excuse me, sir.
Sir, as I
या
can
या
see,
सॉरी,
there are only 21 slides. So is it gonna be a short session?
you will so it's going to be I don't think so it's going to be short session, because in between I'll be taking you to this thing, the other one, like I'll be using one note, so maybe I'll do some explanation there, because see, I can't really explain you how to do the graphings of polynomial just by showing you slides. And that is very much essential, because you would have seen all your questions, like almost like 30% 40% of your questions are like that, which
Yes,
requires
sir.
a graphing of,
Yes, sir.
right.
Yeah.
Sir,
And
how many questions are there?
there are 5 questions.
Okay,
So
sir.
so what you will see is, like, of course you will find graded assignment in a way it's easy, because you have Desmos or you have GeoGebra, you can actually plot that graphs online and get your answers done. But what will you do at the end of your in your quizzes then, right? So you really have to learn like how to do the graphings of it. Once you know the graphings of polynomial, you will do it very fast than what you will be actually typing on the Desmos or like a GeoGebra, right? So we need that command, and I hope at least 50% or like more, that more than that should be able to learn this. So that's what I'm hoping. Let's see how it happens. So see, as if now I could see there are 82 of you have been connected, and we are like 5 of us. Please join this session. Go to joinpd.com and use this code AIFFJ.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so all of you please go there and then participate here. So
Hello,
we'll
sir.
just start. Yeah, hi.
सर गुड इवनिंग। मेरे को ये बोलना है कि सर मेरा भी 19th को एक्चुअली कौन एमपी पुलिस का पेपर था, तो उस कारण मेरा मतलब वीक अभी 3 कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ एक्चुअली, कुछ पार्ट उसका तो वो मैं कंप्लीट कर रहा हूँ। तो अभी कल जैसे वीक 4 की डेडलाइन है, तो मैं प्रिपेयर कैसे करूँ एग्जाम के लिए
तो
मतलब?
अभी आप वीक 3 को छोड़ दो एंड
हाँ
वीक 4 पे ही ध्यान दो, क्योंकि अभी ये सबमिट करना होगा ग्रेडेड असाइनमेंट, है
हाँ
ना।
हाँ नहीं, और सर नहीं मैं प्रिपेयर कैसे करूँ मतलब?
प्रिपेयर कैसे करना है, ठीक है। तो लाइक वीक 4 पे पहले आप अपना ग्रेडेड असाइनमेंट कर लो, है ना। उसके बाद से लाइक वीक 3 का आप देख सकते हो उसके बाद से, है ना।
Sir,
या
sir, I have a question regarding I have kind of arranged a previous year question paper qualifier. So there I have a question about a parabola.
ओके, what
Okay.
about parabola?
There's a problem, like there's a
SSC
bridge.
problem?
Huh? No, it's not a SSC problem. There's a bridge which is kind of hanging with two concrete walls equidistant
Okay.
from each other, and the bridge is kind of a parabola.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay. Yeah.
I have the question.
Hmm.
I can, if you give me just 1 second, I will just pop that up.
Okay, so you can actually do that. Maybe like we can take that at the end. Is that okay?
Okay, sir. Okay,
So yeah, let's do that. So yeah, please all of you go to joinpd.com and use this code GJIFFH. Then all of you can participate here. That's how we'll do it. Okay. And yeah, so like I could see like 150 of you are here, but the 97 of you have connected. So maybe like you can, I'll just start the session, and like if you have a like, I mean, if you're not able to join, there is an instructions here, and you can see here at the top right corner. It's written like how to participate, and you will see that code is being shown here at the top right corner. So GJIFFH. Okay, so this is the code. Go to your deck. So joinpd.com and use this code. So yeah, let's start the
I have
session.
a question.
Yeah.
Where can we get the previous year question of the qualifier like that person said?
So basically, I don't know how did he got it.
Oh, so
Actually,
there
there
are
is a website called the
we
Open
also want.
Notes.
no,
Okay.
there are several groups, right? WhatsApp, Telegram, etc. Discord.
Okay.
From there only I got.
Available on Discord.
Okay, so
Okay.
not Discord, I guess. Maybe he would have. Or
I think now we
where-
can start the session.
Yeah, right. So see, like if you want those questions, anyways, we'll be providing you more questions with. So I think like on Monday you have your it's a mock session, live mock session. So it will be at the night. So all of you do attend that. So that is something similar to your quiz qualifier one. Qualifier what happened earlier, like 3 months before. So that will give you actually a real feel of your exam and the type of question we had given. So do attend that as well. Okay. So yeah, let's start our session for today because we have a lot to discuss. Okay. And those who haven't gone through the content still, no worries. We can just do all the things here and make sure we cover most of the topics here. Okay.
Sir, I have
please.
That would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, it
So-
will be really helpful.
yeah. Okay, so let's start. So my name is Vicky Kumar Sharma. Again, I'm a maths course instructor. So today we are going to discuss week 4 practice for graded assignment. Okay, so as you know how this session goes, basically a question will be given to you and we'll give you like 4-5 minutes each question, and then you will be participating. You will be actually answering those questions, and I might ask you to raise your hand for those who want to answer the questions, and it will be both way discussed. So those person will be called to like discuss the solution for that particular question, and then I myself will discuss the solution. Okay, so that's how we'll do. So this is how the questions look like. So you'll have a description of the question and then what question to be answered, and then you will see a desktop or in your mobile this kind of view appears where you'll be able to respond. Okay, so this is how it look like. So maybe like I'll take you through the sample questions and then you'll be able to. So this is just a sample problem to test everything is working. So how is week 4 graded question? Is it easy, medium, tough? How do you feel? Just you can.
Sir, if you can plot the graph,
Tough.
most of the questions can be solved.
Sorry.
If we can plot the graph,
Yeah.
then most of the questions can be
Exactly.
solved. Not all,
Exactly.
but some questions can be solved.
Yeah, that's what even I am saying. And see that's the main purpose of giving this assignment, because once you know this you will find it being helpful for your other weeks as well. So I want all of you to learn it here itself, because as you go later during the course, maybe like let's say exponential and logarithmic functions, you will find the intermixing of these weeks, and that will become really hectic then if you don't know the graphings of polynomial. So it's a right time to study it here, right? So this is just to so this question is just simply asked to see how whether you are able to respond or not.
So now not only even the graphs, even factoring polynomials is also really difficult for us.
Especially cubic, sir.
Yeah, cubic, quadric.
So see,
Yeah,
I'll tell you one
is.
thing. I'll tell you
Quadric
one thing.
Quadric somehow जुगाड़ हो जाता है, but cubic में I get stuck.
For cubic and all, see, even we don't have any particular method wherein we can actually come up with just looking at the equation and say like, oh, these are the factors. So even we, while giving the polynomial equations or like a cubic equations, we make sure there is at least one root which has a factor as 1, -1, 0, or like 2, -2, something like this. So we make sure at least one factor is something like that, because even we can't do it, right? So that is the thing. Like nobody can do it. I mean, you need some other tools for doing it, right?
Yeah, we are using online calculator for cubic.
Okay, so yeah, so that's okay, but make sure that you always make sure that there will be at least the roots such as 1, -1, 2, -2, or 0, or like 3 or -3. This is the max what we can go for. Okay, so you will find these kind of things are coming, or we might give you some kind of clues. in saying that, okay, you know, one of its factors are this, then the other factors you have to find out. So all you have to do is just divide and get the quadratic equation and then find it.
Yes, sir, in the one question is mentioned.
Yeah, so that's what we will do. Yeah, that certainly will do. Okay, so I'll mute all of you because kind of. All right. So let's see what are the popular response. So again, I can see 68 of you have given response, but not all of you. So let's see what are the popular responses. So medium, but load बहुत था. Medium, tough, medium, still have to do graded, sir. Okay, medium. Time taking, yeah, definitely it has been made like that. Even when we were making solution for this, it took time for us. So yeah, not able to manage time. Understandable again. So tough, meaty. Let us study. Okay.
In
Okay,
one
so
activity question 4.12.
So 4.12.
Sir, I don't think question number 2 and question number 4 have correct answers. In activity questions 4.12.
Okay, so maybe we can look that.
Can discuss that later on.
Yeah.
But please.
Okay, so let's discuss some of like very easy question like 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. This is so let's just discuss this question and then we can switch to graphings. Okay. So a question is given by dividing a polynomial p of x with another polynomial q of x. We get h of x as the quotient and r of x as the remainder. So that is p of x is equals to q of x times h of x plus r of x. What you have to do here is you have to find the minimum degree of r of x. So what will be the minimum degree of r of x, right? So you have 4 options here and you have to choose one among them. So
done, sir.
Done, right? Yeah, so this is like easy problems just to, you know, build some confidence. Okay, so I could see like 42 of you have given response. Nice. So see, I could see like there are 180 of us here, but only 139 of you have joined this. It will not be worth if you don't join this session. So please do that. Just go to joinpd.com and use this code, what you can see here on the top right corner. That is GJIFFH. So do not give any space in them and join this session, right? Then you'll be able to participate. Okay. Maybe I can give another 1 minute for this and then we can go to the
Done, sir.
Done. Okay, good.
Hi, what is the purpose of this joinpd.com?
Yeah, purpose is like, see, the structure of this session, actually this is solve with us. So it means like you are solving with us and basically you're participating with us. So how do you do that? So it's like you will be joining this session, right? And once you join the session, you will get the space for answering these questions. So, and that is something I can see and all of us can see once I show to everyone. So that's how you will be able to participate, and even we will have some kind of database, like, you know, who gave what answer, and you know,
got
like,
it, got it. Because
right?
I don't see any I mean, whatever I am typing, you are able to see some dialogue, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we can get started.
Yeah, sure.
This
Sir,
Q
can you
1.1
repeat
from
the
which
code?
sorry, go ahead, madam.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No. Can you repeat the code?
So you can see here on the top right corner, see, it's like GJIFFH.
Oh, it is GJI.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there was something else. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. So do you need some more time?
I did not understand the question.
So I have put the
We'll make it quick
No, sir,
because
it's done.
already it is 4:20.
Yeah, sure. Don't worry, but
Make it quick.
don't worry. I'll take you through all these questions. Don't worry. But it's okay. Sometimes, you know, we should have some kind of conversation like this. So it's okay. But yeah, I'll make sure I'm obeying my times. Yeah. So the question here was like, you are dividing a polynomial p of x with another polynomial q of x, and you get h of x as the quotient and r of x as the remainder. Okay. Then the question is, what will be the minimum degree of r of x, right? So that's the question. Yeah. And I think this question is somewhere given in your practice assignment, like similar question. And from my previous experience, what I've seen is like students really had confusion in this kind of thing. So I just took this question just randomly. So you know, at least those who haven't gone through these questions will be able to solve it here. Okay, so let's see.
No polynomial is given here. So how can we solve this?
So that's the thing, no? Like you just have to take a general polynomial. Okay, you have to assume something and then think like, okay, what could be the minimum degree of your remainder polynomial, right? So just think of some example and see what minimum degree of R of x can be, right? So when if something is not given, you do like that. Okay, so
it's
Yes, we will answer.
done, right? Okay, so let's see what are the popular responses here. Or you need some more time to solve this question?
No, sir. No, sir. No.
Also, just explain.
Okay. Okay, so let's see like what are the popular responses for this. So those who want to answer this question can raise your hand. So option D, A0, D, B, D, A1, D0, D, A, D1, 0. Oh my God, I'm getting really diverse answers. So okay, so now I can see here some 1, D. I don't know why so many of you have given answer as D.
Sir, please show the scatter plot.
I think for this we just get this. So these are some.
So you wanted actually to the max, sorry, to the minimum where it can go, right?
Right. Okay, so let's see now what are the things. So as I could see, like it's some diverse answers we are getting here. So it's like some of you are saying D, most of you are saying A. So let's go with what, like I think like most of you have given answer as A, but let's see why. So could any of you raise your hand who want to discuss this?
Yes, sir.
Me, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, at least when there would be a remainder, at least it would be a constant, right? And
Right.
constant would be of degree 0.
Right. So yeah, that's the simple logic, Naveen. Yeah, so what you are telling is right. So let's see how. So as I told, I'll be discussing its solution. So see, the degree of a remainder R of x should be strictly less than the degree of the polynomial Q of x, right? Because that's the basic rule for that division, right? If you would have not gone through, I mean, if you would have gone through the lecture, that is something you will know. But if you don't know, just keep it in your mind. When you are dividing something by something, then remainder, of course, will be lesser than your question, right? So that's the basic rule, isn't it? So when you're doing a division of a polynomial, right? So the degree of the remainder R of x should be strictly less than the degree of the polynomial Q of x, right?
Sir, but degree of a constant is 1, no? Or
No.
It's
So let's
0.
discuss.
Degree of a constant is x is equal to 0.
So you can see here,
which is 0.
So let's discuss here. So that is something in your case 1. So as you can see here in the case 1, so what is the minimum thing you can have when you are dividing with something? So you will have remainder as a constant, right? Or you can have a constant that is to be 0, right? So when the remainder is constant, let's see, but not 0, in that case that can be written as c x to the power of 0, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So
sir.
what is the degree of this constant polynomial? It's 0, right? So when the remainder is constant, let's say this time c is 0, okay? In this case, the degree is not defined, as you know this, right? This becomes a 0 polynomial, right? So then what is the least degree that you can have for the remainder? That's going to be 0, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So any doubt here? Anybody?
Sir, is it possible for you to explain it by example? Because we have lost the connect with maths from 2000, quite a decade.
Okay. You can see my screen right now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So now let's say this is, now you have a polynomial, let's say P of x, and you're dividing this by another polynomial, let's say Q of x. Okay. So first of all, when you're dividing something by something, let's say this is x to the power of 4 plus 2. Okay. and let's say this is x to the power of 5. Okay, so when you divide this, could you tell me what will be the quotient? So it's simply, if I have to write like this, x to
1 actually.
what will be the quotient?
So division is not possible.
Division is not possible.
Division is not possible.
Not possible in this case.
Or I can say, so you can say the quotient is 0. That is one thing. Or in your lecture, it has been told that when the degree of q of x is greater than p of x, the division is not possible, right? So that is something being told in the lecture. So just take it like that. Otherwise, you know that how do we actually do this? It's like 0 times this is nothing but the same 0. So what do you get remainder from here? X to the power of 4 plus 2, right?
Yes, sir.
In other words, let's say, or like for this, if I have to take some values like this, 4 by 5. So how do you do this? How do you get this? So you just write down here this to be you represent it like this, right? And then if I don't tell you to bring it in the decimal form, so what do you do basically here is you'll say like 5 times 0 is 0, and then you get remainder as 4, right? When I'm specifically asking you for this, of course you can go into the decimal and you can do other things, but let's not go into that part right now, right? So what, as you can see here, that this thing is happening. Then what about the remainder, right? So here in this case, you see the degree of the remainder is what? It's 4. This is your remainder, right? What is the degree of this polynomial? 4.
0.
Why is it 0?
Which polynomial, sir?
Not sir, remainder is 4.
Numerator, denominator, sir.
No, remainders. Okay, so now let's go with another example. So now let's take an example wherein the division is possible. Okay, so let me take this as something like 4 times x to the power of 4 upon x cube, right? Here we can do that division part. And could you tell me what will be the remainder here?
Sir, 4.
4x.
4.
So if I have to do this division, maybe I can
4x.
It's only 4.
Remainder
0.
Remainder will be 4.
0 remainder.
0.
Yes. 0.
4x.
So you
4x
can see
will be
here
quotient.
that this is going to be x.
4x will
right? This is an x to the power of 4. So I can write this as
4x.
x.
4x time.
And then
Yes.
this will be 4x.
Quotient
to the power of
4x.
4. So question is 4x, but what is the remainder? Remainder is 0. So now in this case, could you tell me if this is your remainder r of x, what is the degree of this polynomial?
0.
No. It is
Not
not
defined.
defined.
Undefined.
Okay. So likewise, when you solve it, so you see this becomes undefined, or you might have certain cases wherein like you might have a remainder something like you might get a remainder with some degrees, right? So you might have like, let's say 4x square or something, you get a remainder something like this. So if this is the remainder, what is the degree of this remainder? 2, right?
2.
Likewise, what could be the least thing that you can have? Least thing you can go is like something you will have a constant one, right? So what is,
Right,
if it is a constant, then what is the degree of this polynomial?
1.
0.
Zero. Because if you have a constant polynomial, you can always represent in this form, right?
So that's
And then
the
you can say that. So,
Right.
so that's how we can come to a conclusion. Okay.
So just now the degree was it 0 or was it undefined?
0.
Or
Zero.
here. So for
So can you please explain again?
okay, so you see a constant polynomial has so what is the degree of a constant polynomial?
0.
0. What is a degree of a 0 polynomial? Okay, so maybe I'll just write it down here for you.
Undefined.
So now if let's say if my r of x is 5, could you tell me what is its degree?
0.
Degree is 0. Why? It's because I can just simply write this
5x raised to 0.
Oh,
Right?
is it because 0 x to the power 0 is also 0?
Right. It's just because of that. Now you see, now you have another
It's
r.
1.
Yeah, that's 1, not 0. So now you take r of x as equals to, let's say, 0. Now what is this degree of this polynomial?
Not defined.
Undefined.
Yeah, or not defined. So why do we say not defined basically?
Because it can be
Now I can write this as 0
every
times x to the power of 0 will still give me 0. X to the power of 1 will still give me 0. X to the power of, let's say, 100 will still give me 0, right? Because 0 times x to the power of 100, right? So this something case comes in which is not defined, right? So for a zero polynomial, the degree is not defined, right? So that's how you go, right? So I hope you understood this.
So I have an easy question. Can I ask?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, first person. Some easy question.
so,
Yeah.
so I just want to ask. In the lecture, it was said that degree should be a real number,
right?
Natural number, right?
The degree
But
should
then
be
degree should be like in positive and a real natural number, right?
right.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, and go on.
Integers
So,
basically.
so I got confused when it came to that root 5x square, is it a monomer or not? Is it a monomer? Root
Sorry,
5
what?
x square.
Root 5 x square.
X square.
Monomial.
5 and x
Yes.
square.
Monomial.
Root 5 dot x square.
Okay, it's root 5 dot x square, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So tell me, what is your doubt?
So would it be a monomer or not?
Yeah, it is.
Monomial, sir.
Monomial.
It is a monomial.
That was
What
my
is the
question.
degree of this polynomial?
2.
We can do.
2.
Okay, so
So
now
I
let's.
just got confused when it came 5.
It's okay.
Degree should not be root 5, but coefficient can be root 5.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So that's very definition of a polynomial. So for those who haven't, if you don't know anything, just at least go through the definition of polynomial. Okay. Or if I have a time, I can just do that. Maybe after this 1.3 questions, I'll be using those boards so we can take up, a summary kind of thing. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so for this question, was undefined one of the options?
No.
And if
You had
undefined
0.
is there, it'd still be 0, right? Because that's the minimum.
So again, you cannot say that part. So that's why we cannot deal anything which is not defined, isn't it? So we just
No,
avoid
so
that
just
kind
now
of
for the question that the first question.
I get it. In there were only 4 options in which the not defined was not given. You were asking if that is given, will that be an answer? So don't worry
Yeah.
about it. That will never be given.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's go with the next question. So again, the same thing. What will be the maximum degree of r of x? Okay, now use the same logic. Just imagine you are dividing that polynomial with what? Now p of x is being divided by q of x, right? So what could be the maximum degree of your r of x?
Degree of px minus 1.
Yeah, sir. Done, sir.
Done, sir.
Of
Correct.
x minus px
Yeah.
minus 1.
Okay.
Sir, I can't see.
So just degree of px.
Just degree of px it cannot be, because you remember like what we told in the solution, the previous solution we were discussing, that the degree of r of x is strictly less than q of x.
Yes, sir.
But in the activity question, I can see, sir, one option is degree of p of x minus 1. There are correct option given.
Maybe I would like to see that, like maybe I'll see that later on, but I don't think so anything as such would be given, because you see, like, you think it logically, right? Like when p of x is divided by q of x, and let's say that division is possible, then remainder will definitely have its degree. That is something I'm asking you. So what is that? So you can just give me the answer for this, then we can discuss that part right now.
D, sir. Degree of q of x minus 1.
Okay, let's see that whether that is the answer. So just give your response in the periodic. Again, like you see, we are like 195 of us here, like 193 or something, but only 167 of you have joined. So it's It's worth joining this. If you haven't joined, just go to joinpd.com and use this code. You'll be able to participate. You'll be able to give the answers. Okay, so do you need some more time for solving this question? No, right?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, so let's see what are the popular responses for this. So most of you are telling answer as D, 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 D. Okay. We are also getting answers as B, A, but most of you have given answer as D. Okay. And we can even see like AB also being popping off here. So that's okay. So let's see. Okay. So who would like to discuss this? Maybe you can raise your hand. Any of you? Yeah. Who is this? Ankit. Ankit Kumar?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, my logic is that if QS is equal to some constant and we are dividing PX with some constant, then the RX will definitely have the same degree as that of PX.
Okay, so that same degree as that of QX, right?
No, sir. If QX is equal to some polynomial, some constant, okay, and we are dividing PX with some constant, then just the constant term will be subtracted from PX, and the degree will be the same.
Okay. So, but
then it will be 0,
Sir,
sir.
can I speak?
Go ahead.
Sir, if we divide 4x square with 2x square, then the degree will be same as the degree of px.
Degree of px?
Yes, same. A, option A.
No, sir. If
Sir,
we
may I
divide
explain?
4x square by 2, then the degree will be same as 4x square. That is 2.
Sir, may I explain?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so as you mentioned earlier, if we have a denominator as more degree as a nominator, then we will multiply a denominator with 0.
Yeah.
And then we will get as a remainder of px.
Okay.
So the remainder is then absolutely as a px of the degree px.
Okay, but how? Okay, so that case you are telling, right? But you see, in the lecture, it has been told, no, like the division has to be like the division has to happen, right?
Right.
Like
so the power of px should be always more than qx.
Yeah, so that is the condition which is being discussed in the lecture. So as per
suppose
lecture,
we are using the long division method.
No, I do understand what you are telling. Like the one which I told you, we can give quotient as 0 and then get the polynomial p of x as the remainder. But there was again a condition. There are something like we have to follow what is given in the lecture. Okay, so in lecture it says the division, it will be possible only when the degree of q of x is smaller than degree of p of x.
Sir,
or equal. Yeah.
If the degree of qx will be 0, then the maximum degree will be px.
Sir, I want to say,
for Rx, I'm asking, right? If it is,
suppose we are dividing with the divisor, right? And we are on last step of long division method, and there the constant cancels out, and the variable term remains. Then the degree of remainder is equal to the divisor, maximum degree of the divisor.
The degree of the remainder is
equal to the degree of divisor. That is qx.
Then there won't be any remainder, right?
Then again we will divide it by 1 now, then it will cancel out, become 0.
So,
may I interrupt just for a minute? Sir, this previous example, I think she was saying, if the denominator is, the degree of denominator is 0, and
that will not happen. See, for a division to happen, the degree of denominator should not be 0, isn't it? Like this q of x can never be 0, isn't it?
So why?
That's the normal definition. When do you say that division is to
okay, if it is x, then it is degree 1 actually. Yeah. Minimum should
not
be 1.
Equals to 0. Like that is the definition.
Sir, q cannot be 0, but its degree can be 0, sir.
In that case, it will be constant, right? So everything will be the quotient, right? Nothing will be remainder. Na?
There won't be
question
any
is, what will be the maximum remainder? If there is no remainder, we don't have to think that case, na?
Yeah. You see that now, yeah. So that is the basic thing. Okay. So anyhow, let's go to the next part of it. I hope you got this.
Explain
how
with
that is qx minus 1? I think answer should be
explain with an
qx.
example, so it would be easy to understand. I think that would be great.
Sir, px is x square and qx is also x square. Then we divide.
Then that will not be any remainder, right? In that case.
Yes.
So when p of x is what?
X square. And q of x is x square. Remainder will be 0. Then which option I will choose?
Yeah, but what is being asked in the question? What is the maximum degree of r of x?
Okay.
This case not considered.
But in this case also, no. You come to this part, like p of x, when it is being divided with q of x, right?
Yes.
So you see that is giving you a general answer. What will be the maximum value of q of x? Sorry, r of x?
Less than p of x. One
Always
less than
q of x minus 1. Now,
Yes,
if you
sir.
get this as, when you're getting this as 0, right? When you get that as 0, so it indicates what? It's still lesser than this, isn't it? The degree of this part.
Sir,
Yes,
can
you see
sir,
this gives
One
the
more
maximum
question. So the denominator should be always with a binomial, or it can be a constant also.
Now, if you take a constant, for example, right?
Then it will be x0, right? The degree of x will be 0.
Okay, so here, yeah. So, but again, see, but you see that option, it says what? See, it says q of x minus 1, right? So it says the maximum degree of r of x is nothing but, you see, q of x minus 1. It says when it will be minus, let's say the degree of q of x is what? Let's say in the earlier example where it was given
x square.
So what will be the maximum degree of your r of x? 2 minus 1, which is nothing but 1.
No, sir. If it is only the constant, then the degree will be 0, right?
Right. So in that case, now you say.
So it will be 2 minus 0, right?
Yeah. So in that case, what will happen? So you'll see when this is 0, so you have this turning out to be what? Negative, right? When this is x to the power of 0, so this will become negative. So the degree, maximum degree, you cannot go with the negative part coming in here, right? So that is something you can avoid.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so now let me just take let us take one small example.
Sir, Rx is how Rx in previous we defined Rx equal to x power of minus 1 something defined.
Sorry. R of x is equals to what?
No, you define previous example x is x square and qx equal to x square. Then you should that time you define the remainder will be x square minus 1 something condition like how.
Sorry, I didn't get x square minus 1. Like the remainder you're saying r of x?
Yeah, you basically you are explaining this question.
So when I was telling you this, the degree, the maximum degree of r of x.
Yes.
It will be nothing but what? It will be, wait. So the maximum degree of r of x will be nothing but q of x minus 1. Okay. So now this will be maximum of this, isn't it? But you can have the other degrees also, right? But what will be the maximum? Now, when you divide with this, you get remainder as what in this case?
0.
R of x is 0, right?
Yes,
but
right.
That is not the maximum, right? I mean, when you give a particular example like this,
okay,
it's perfectly fine. Like, okay, now you get the remainder as 0, and then you can simply say, okay, the maximum degree of my this thing is 0. Basically not defined here, right?
Yes.
In this case, it is not defined. So what I mean to say here is when you are being told that it's the maximum of r of x, so you can have this condition coming in. If it was 2, then what will be the maximum value of r of x? It can be 1, right? It can have other values also, right?
Also.
But which is maximum in this one?
1.
You go with that. Okay.
One question is that why we are taking x p is equal to x square and q is equal to x square. It could be any anonymous value, right?
You can take it that way. But if you are coming to this part, like can q of x be 0? So it cannot be 0 when you are doing this p of x by q of x. It's just because, see, when you are dividing something, of course, like when you divide by this part, it becomes 0. So when do you say that? Of course, you can take 0 and then, do that division part and keep claiming something, but we don't lead to somewhere, right? So that's why, like, when you have to divide something, when you do p by qa, I mean p by q, the q always should not be equals to 0. That is something we do. And if it is a polynomial, then you have to make sure it is a polynomial, right?
So you're saying the degree of q of x must be defined, right?
Yeah, so when you are doing with the polynomials, I mean
Okay.
polynomial division, yes.
Okay. Sir,
Mhm.
Can we take px is equal to x ka power 4 and the qx is equal to x ka power 3?
You can do this. What will be the remainder?
Then what will be the degree, maximum degree?
What will be
Remainder will be x.
remainder will be
Remainder
0.
will be
Zero.
x.
And
Zero.
you see
Degree
that
will be 1.
no, the degree will not be defined here, no?
Defined.
Because it is 0. So it's
Yes,
a 0
remainder
polynomial. So the degree of r of x will be not defined.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So all right. So let's go with third part of it, and then
Sir, can you explain qx minus y? Write in qx minus 1. Minus 1. I think that is qx written.
अरे qx होगा तो यार वो डिवाइड फिर से हो जाएगा ना, जब दोनों का डिग्री सेम है तो फिर से डिवाइड हो जाएगा ना, रिमाइंडर 0 आ जाएगा।
then undefined हो जाएगा भाई। मिनिमम इट शुड बी -1 ना, qx -1।
अरे हम मैक्सिमम की बात कर रहे हैं ना अभी।
The remainder is qx minus 1. I think qx should write in.
Sorry, qx minus 1.
Qx minus y, remainder qx minus 1. The maximum
That's not
remainder.
remainder, that's
Remainder, that is remainder.
Okay. So any doubt here? Do you want me to do anything here, or should we go to the next?
We go to next, sir.
Sir, I just have one more question.
Okay.
Go to next question, sir.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Sir, I have one question here.
Mm-hmm.
So how it would be like x4 divided by x3 equal to 0? I just want to understand.
How x4
The
divided
remainder
by?
will be 0. Remainder.
So we are talking about remainder, no? So now, like, say, take this x cube and x to the power of 4. Now you can write this as times x. So you can write this x to the power of 4 minus 0. So what is the remainder?
Okay.
Like this. Okay. Okay.
Thank you,
I think, yeah. So somewhat like we understood from this, like this is, we get the maximum degree of r of x as degree of q of x minus 1. So some of you had doubt saying that, okay, what if q of x is a constant and, you know, things like that. So we discussed that, like, since the degree is coming out to be like this, we have to obey that, you know, that first the division has to happen, and secondly that when division is happening, the remainder when it comes to be 0, then you know that it becomes a 0 polynomial and becomes undefined. So we again avoid that, right? So, and what do we mean by maximum degree of q of x? That is something we get it as degree of q of x minus 1. So this gives you the maximum value. Of course it can have other values as well, but the maximum value you get as degree of q of x minus 1. Okay. So now here still more complication to this. Same question again. If degree of p of x is lesser than degree of q of x, then choose the correct set of correct answers. Okay. So now you have to choose among them. You notice here that degree of p of x is lesser than degree of q of x.
Done, sir.
Sir, this division is not possible, right?
One thing is that considering division is possible, what will happen?
So we can tell the
Sir,
solution.
we can answer more than one option.
You have to answer more than one option.
Done.
Okay, think for another like 30 seconds and then we can move to the next question. So we can just go switch to the graphings. So do you need some more time?
No, sir. No, sir.
Sir, just can I ask, like, Here it is strictly told that it is less than the p of x is strictly less than degree of q of x.
Strictly less than, yeah.
So then B, C, D all becomes false, right? Because it is strictly told it is the degree of p of x.
The numerator.
Considering that division is not possible, what professor uses that word. When the division itself is not possible, then all these options goes null and void. But considering if division is possible, then what? Then what will happen to your question?
And it would continue to be 0, 0, 0.
It is 0. It will be, if not possible, then remainder is 0, right?
No. When division is not possible, then this question will not come at all. Now considering if division is possible, like you are doing 4, I mean you are dividing it, right? The first example what we took in while discussing this, right? When you had x cube divided by x to the power of 4, consider this case. What will happen?
Okay, sir. In this question, you are mentioning that the division is possible, but
right.
What if when we don't
on general you don't, if something comes like this, you would simply say the division is not possible. Yeah. That's all. Yeah.
Okay. Or it is not mentioned in the question answer, then what will we do?
It will be mentioned like if it is happening, then yes, we will specifically say okay, the division is possible. Okay. Yeah, considering that division is possible. Yeah, considering that
this
division
question is also not mentioned that division is possible.
So yeah, I get it. So consider I am telling you verbally here.
Right. Yeah. That's why.
Yeah. Okay. No
Sir,
problem.
would it be same as dividing 0 with 4? Say.
Dividing 0 with 4.
4, yeah, or 0 with any.
You can say that also. Yeah. You can consider that point. I mean, but again, that cannot come in here because the degree of, let's say, 2 constants will be the same, right? So you can you avoid that because it says degree of p of x is lesser than degree of q of x. Okay. So let's see what are the popular responses. AD, BD, AD, AB, AC, AD, CA, AD, AC. Okay, so again, most of you have given 1 as first as the answer, A, but avoiding D. So let's see what is the case here. Okay, so you see that if degree of p of x is lesser than degree of q of x, then the question will be 0. Hence the first option becomes right. Like considering if division was possible, isn't it? Now, if that is the case, then what will be remaining? You will see that the degree of r of x is nothing but degree of p of x. It's simple. It's like simply we are doing this. For example, p of x is in
X
this
cube
case
divided by x power 4.
Exactly. So
4 plus 2 by
so you can take x cube divided by x to the power of 4, right? So now you see that x to the power of 4 divided by x cube. So what you will have? You will have 0. So this is your h of x. And then you will have 0 here. So you will be left with x cube. This is your r of x, right? And this was nothing but your p of x, right? So you see that degree of p of x is nothing but equals to degree of r of x, right? So simply, like, I just wanted to check that. Do not like, since I'm telling you that division is possible, that's why we were solving this question. Okay, so now this is just to give you an idea like what it is, right? So the next part is I just wanted to know, like, how good are you at graphing of polynomial functions? Like, are you good enough to do the graded assignment question, manageable, or you need some help? So based on this response, we can discuss more on graphings or less graphings, or like it depends on your responses. So let's see what you give response for this.
Sir, I am having issue with only the endpoints.
Endpoints, okay, so we can take up that as well. No problem.
Yes. So sir, endpoints, like it will be difficult to define.
Sometimes
Any problem
I get
related
confused.
to graphing, if you want help, then click on need help.
I need help in some activity question.
Okay, so
it's just a basic question. The activity question, question number 2 of activity 4.12.
Let's take up that at the end. Because yeah, we'll do it.
Same flow, sir.
Yeah.
You just first explain us the basic things, sir.
Sure.
It will help us.
Sure. So you see, like, I can see like at least more than 50% of you need help in graphing of the polynomial. So let's just do with some 4-5 examples, and then we'll come back to our slides here. Okay. So now, just a minute. So all of you can take your copy and just try solving. I mean, start doing with me. Okay. So now let's say if I give you a question, something like this. Yeah. Hi. Okay. So now you have to do. Okay. So maybe the question could be like, find the number of turning points for the polynomial function f of, maybe I can write f of x as x to the power of 4 x minus 1 the whole square x minus 2 x plus 4. Let me just go it in the order. X plus 3 x minus 5 x plus x minus 8 the whole square. Let me give it as minus here, or to make it more better, let's give this as 5 minus x. Okay. So now you have been given a polynomial something like this, and you have to find the number of turning points for this polynomial function. Okay. Oh, this is, let's not say this is 8, but this is 2. Okay. So first of all, randomly, what will be the degree of this polynomial f of x?
11. Degree is 4.
11.
11, sir.
11.
Okay. 11. So how do you solve these kind of questions? Okay.
11.
Okay. So maybe like
The degree minus powers of x.
So see, first, okay, let me just come here now. So now you see, this is a kind of a graphing problems. Okay. So now how do you solve these kind of questions? So how do we do the graphings? Okay. So let's do some.
Excuse me, sir. Is it minus x to the power 4? The a part.
What?
The a, fx is equal to minus x to the power 4. It is written.
Which one? X to the power of?
No, first one is
First one, x to the power of minus 1.
Okay.
Sir, it will start from minus infinity, right? Minus infinity, because it is odd degree.
Okay, so let's see that. Now. Let's go with that.
Okay.
So what is the step 1? So you first find out what is the degree of f of x?
11.
That is 11. So what do? You basically so those who are facing the problem, how do you actually get this? So you see, this is product of all these, right? So what will happen when you multiply all of these, right? Then what will be the highest degree of this polynomial? So when you multiply all of these, so do not sit and do that multiplication part. It's just the first term you have to think of, right? So from here you will have 4 degrees. When you expand this from here, you will have x square term coming up, right? So that will come out to be like 4 plus 2, right? So this will become 4 plus 2. From here I'll get 1 degree. From here I'll get 1 degree. From here I'll get another 1 degree, right? And from here I'll get 2 degrees. So altogether, how many degrees do I get? I get 11 degrees, right?
Sir, one more time. Okay. Thanks for your patience.
No
Can
problem.
you please explain, sir, one more time? Because
how did we get the degree?
Yeah, because I have not started 4th week. If you just tell me, I can grasp fast.
Okay, sure. So you see, first, what are we doing here is the main objective of this thing is doing the graphings of a polynomial. Okay. So now when you do the graphing of a polynomial, it becomes very essential first to know what is the degree of a polynomial. Okay. So now f of x is given to you. Okay. So now you see, like, if I tell you if f of x is equals to x minus 1 times x minus 2, what is degree of polynomial f of x? 2. Simply when you multiply these, you will get x square, right?
Okay.
Similarly, when this is x square, what do you get? From here, the highest degree you will get is x to the power of 2. And then when you will be multiplying with this, you will get as 1. So that turns out to be 3, right? So what you do essentially is you see what is the highest power of x, right, that you can get from each factor, right? From this factor you get the fourth, the highest degree of this is 4. Okay. From here, what is the highest degree of this factor? 2. Okay. From here, 1. From here, 1. And from here, 2. So what is the degree of this polynomial? 4 plus 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So now this is how we get the degree of this polynomial, and we are done with the degree of polynomial.
9, 10, 11.
11 मिल गया?
सर आप डिलीट क्यों कर देते थे?
So हो गया, like
आप लिखे रहने दीजिए.
Okay, so so the degree of f of x, we got it. Okay, so the next step is finding the leading coefficient. Okay, so step 2 is what is the leading leading coefficient term? Is it negative or positive?
Negative. Is positive.
Positive, sir.
5 minus x.
Positive.
That minus with the 5 minus x.
Okay, correct. So see, whenever we get something like this, or maybe like if I have to make it more interesting, I can just give this as -1 again here. Okay, this is anyways not hampering my degree, but just to give you more explanation on this, if you have more negatives, then what do you do, right? So when you want to find out the leading coefficient, nature of leading coefficient, so let's give it that heading as nature of leading coefficient. So how do you get that? So what you do is you do some kind of some kind of
arrangement,
simplification here, or arrangement. So you see from here you have been given negative, so okay, that is fine, I have some negative value. Normally how do we write? You write x minus something, or like if you have it, like just keep it in your mind whenever you have given a polynomial, make an habit of writing x minus something, right? Or when you have minus x minus 1, so you just take out minus x common and then you write like this. Okay, so make an habit of expressing x in a positive term. Okay, so from here I cannot do much about this, so I can just simply write this as minus x to the power of 4. Here this is arranged properly for me, so just I'll keep it as it is. Over here this will be same, x minus 2. From here I'll have x plus 3. From here okay, so it's 5 minus x, it's not positive, so what I'll do is I'll take out -1 from here, and you see what is happening. This will turn out to be x minus 5. Fine, all of you fine?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
right. From here, okay, from here what I can do is I can take out -1 common the whole square, x minus x plus 8 the whole square. Can I do this?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
So how did we get this? So it's basically let the power be there. So I can just simply write this as -1 x plus 8. Now I can do this and it's whole square, right? Right. So if this is the case, then I can further simplify this and I can write this -1 the whole square, x plus 8 the whole square, right? But I know this, whenever I'll do this, it will be positive for me.
Yes.
This will always give me positive, right? -1 the whole square gives me positive. Minus times minus will make it positive, right?
Yes.
Right. So what I can do is whenever I have something like this to the power of something, I can always write that is equals to nothing but x plus 8 the whole square, or I can simply avoid this writing.
सर डिग्री कैलकुलेट करना फिर से बता दीजिए और प्लीज डोंट डिलीट इट.
आप वीडियो फिर से देख लेना, क्योंकि नाउ वी विल गो लेट, है ना? फिर हमें सेशन बढ़ाना पड़ेगा, फिर बाद में लाइक you will miss out your other sessions. ठीक है?
Okay.
तो हाँ ठीक है, तो मतलब I'll just tell you again briefly. See what are we doing is कि मतलब whenever you want to express a polynomial, try to make the leading coefficient as a positive for each factors. Okay, so that's what we tried doing here. For this we can't do much about it, so we kept it like this. X minus 1, this is the leading coefficient is positive only, so we did not do anything much. Here kept it same, here kept it same. Here this was 5 minus x, so what we did, we took out -1 from here and then we wrote it as x minus 5. For this I explained just now what we did. We just took out -1 common and it was whole square, we kept it as it is, and then we splitted this power to both of these, right? So this turned out to be -1 the whole square times x plus 8 the whole square, and this turned out to be something like this, right? X plus 8. So now from here what you see is this is -1, right? So now if I multiply with this, so -1 times minus x to the power of 4, which actually gives me plus, right? So this turns out to be plus x to the power of 4. I'm just rearranging again. x minus 2, x plus 3, x minus 5, x plus 8, the whole square.
How plus x4?
Yes, sir. How it is plus x4?
Minus
So
x4 into
-1 should be
minus
in
1.
bracket.
Sorry, what?
-1 should be in bracket, sir.
-1 should be in bracket. Yeah, exactly. So that is perfectly right. So now what we did was, like, we simply multiplied this with all of this. So what we did, this -1 over here also there was -1. So -1 times -1 makes it plus. Now you tell me, when you expand all these, okay, what will be the leading coefficient? It will be positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive. So from here I came to a conclusion that I have my leading coefficient is positive.
Positive.
Right? Okay. So now I have two data. Now the next thing is, okay, so now I have the degree and I got to know my leading coefficient. This is only thing I need to have for doing the graphings of this polynomial. It doesn't matter what it is. It is like 0.00001 or like it is some a lakh or whatever. I just have to deal with whether it is positive or negative. That's all. Okay.
Sir, for the leading coefficient, we should always arrange into x plus x form. Means there should be not minus x.
Like, yeah, that is something you should keep it in your mind while solving, because that becomes very handy. I mean, since I had been doing a practice like this, so I felt it really handy like this. So try to make the leading coefficient for each factor to be positive, because then your life becomes easy. You don't really have to break your head later on, like, you know.
So what is the advantages of turning x?
I'll tell you. Let's go to the step 3. Okay. So now in step 3.
सर ये अब -x4 से +x4 कैसे बना, ये समझ में नहीं आया मुझे.
-x4 से कहाँ है -x4?
शुरू में सर वो
ये कैसे बन गया? ओके, I'll tell you.
x raised to 4 सर.
ये समझ में आ गया कि ये -1 कहाँ से आ गया, ये समझ में आया?
हाँ जी.
अच्छा, यहाँ पे देखो आप क्या है, ये -1 ही है. इसको अगर हम लिखे तो, है ना, दिस इज नथिंग बट -1 ओनली, है ना. तो ये -1 टाइम्स -1 कैसे बन जाएगा? व्हाट विल इट गिव यू? +1. हाँ, बाकी सब कुछ वैसे ही अरेंज करके लिख दिए. क्लियर?
ओके, गॉट सर, थैंक यू.
ओके, ठीक है. तो नाउ लेट्स गो टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. नाउ हमें, लाइक, व्हाट वी नीड इज, all we need is the degree of a polynomial. Since I'm explaining it, I'm taking much time, but it will not take much time for you when you are solving it, right? Once you do it for 1-2 problem, it will become very, very easy. It's not, it's just like if you type this much in your computer, rather than typing this, you'll be able to give your answers. You will become that quick. So now let's go with the step 3. So what do you do in step 3? Okay, so now you got to know the degree and you got to know the nature of the leading coefficient. What you do in step 3 is you just make some assumption with this. When you have degrees to be, so now what are the two degrees you can have? You can have either even or odd. These are the two things you can have, right? What is the degrees that you can have? You can have either even or odd, right?
Right.
So when you have an even degree, what does it happen? So could you tell me, how does the graph of a quadratic equation look like? It is parabola. It goes upward or it goes downward?
Or downward.
When it goes upward,
when the
leading coefficient is positive. Okay. When the leading coefficient is positive, you see what is the ending points. Ending points are on the same side. When it is an even, just keep it in your mind, the endings will be on the same side. Just repeat in yourself. When it is even, then the endings will be on the same side. And when it is odd, what happens when it is odd?
The endings will be on different side.
The endings will be on the different side.
Opposite side, yeah.
Opposite side. So it's so here we dealt with the endings. Now we should not have a confusion. So let's say this goes like this, or maybe I can just do it something like this. Okay. So now you see the endings are on the opposite side. And when is this happening? When this is odd. So when the degree of a polynomial is odd, I notice that the ending is always on the opposite side. And when the degree of the polynomial is even, the endings are always on the positive side. This is one information I can have. So just keep it in your mind. Okay. Now, whether this opens upward, coming to this positive.
Just can I explain? So if it is odd, means it will be in first quadrant and third quadrant and second and fourth. If it is even, means first and second or third and fourth. Is it correct, sir?
What? Like, you mean to say the roots?
No. If it is even means the ending will be in first
No.
and
You actually cannot say. You cannot claim that whether it will be in first or like second, right? So you cannot say like, okay, my y-axis is something here, right? You never know. This will always go like this, right? You cannot say that. So that is, do not go with that assumption. Okay.
सर ये ग्राफ वाला फिर से एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए
मैं रिवाइज करूंगा एक बार और, ठीक है? तो आई जस्ट मेक अ नोट ऑफ टू थिंग्स हियर. पहले तो अपना लाइक first the leading coefficient, first what is the degree is even or odd, that we understood. यहाँ पे तो we'll come to this later on, but now you understood that when the degree is even, where will be our endings? It will be on the same side, है ना? When the degree is odd, the endings are on the opposite sides. This is one point that you have to make a note.
So ending could be upward and downward both sides.
So it can be go ahead.
Like if it is one means एक point ऊपर है तो वो U बन जाएगा, और फिर नहीं तो वो मतलब intersection और like is that like if positive it is like the minimum is downward, so it is opening upward, and negative it's downward in quadratic, right? So here in even, would it be that it can be both the sides, like वो नीचे भी खुल सकता है क्या?
हाँ खुलेगा ना. I am coming there. That is my next point. अभी के लिए
बस इतना based on the first
हाँ अभी तो just we have to understand that whether even है तो what happens at the ending? Endings will be on the same side, and when it is odd, the endings will be on the opposite end. And I'm not restricting any domains here. I'm saying my domain is R. ठीक है?
So the degree you're only considering for the first coefficient, or
largest.
Only on the first.
No. I'm taking the largest, extreme. Go to the complete extreme values. Okay. Of course, I can always restrict my domain and say, oh, my endings has been ended here itself, right? And I did not reach anywhere. So that's what I'm saying. My domain is R. I'm not restricting my domain. Okay. So now what you see, that I understood that when it is an even degree polynomial. So I'll just give you a quick recap again. So when it is an even degree, the endings will be on the same side. When it is an odd degree, the endings will be on the opposite side, considering your domain is R. Okay. Now what happens? Now that is about the degree. Now how does the leading coefficient plays a role? Now see, the leading coefficient, when it was positive, your parabola was opening upward, isn't it? I don't know where my x-axis is. It can be here also, right? It can be here also. That is not a concern. When this is positive, the parabola opens upward, right? Whether it touches the x-axis, how many times, that is we are not getting into right now. Okay. So when it is an even and positive, so this is condition.
Definitely it will touch the y-axis, sir. If it doesn't touch the x-axis, that is okay. But definitely it will touch the y-axis.
That is yeah. When you say when your this thing is depends on your domain. When domain is R, then yes, definitely is going to touch.
So that if it okay. So if it touches, then it will be even means it will be in first and second.
Let's not get into the quadrant part.
Okay. Please carry on. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. So now you see, when you have negative and even, when you have leading coefficient to be negative and it is an even, then the parabola opens downward.
Downward, yes sir.
Downward. Yes, sir. And let my x-axis could be here. If it is here, then okay, I don't care. If it is, let's for simplicity just keep it here. Okay. So now all I have to understand from here is, when the leading coefficient is negative and it is an even degree, then the parabola is opening downwards. Okay. Now what happens? What do you mean by even and what do you mean by odd? So now you see, you have already studied your quadratic equation, and quadratic equation says was the maximum degree is 2, and that is why it was parabola, isn't it? What about when it is x to the power of 4, x to the power of 8, x to the power of, let's say, 100, right? How does the graph changes? Okay.
These are all powers of quadratic equation, x square.
So now you see that just a minute. Now this is your x square. Okay, how will your x to the power of 4 look like? You see, this will become more steeper, right? Sorry. So you see, this is x square and x to the power of 4 will be more steeper, and it goes something like this. When you take x to the power of 100, it goes like this, something like this. Okay. So what you notice, but again, what was our objective? When the degree is even, and the leading coefficient is positive, you see, for all of these, how does the parabola, or like a parabola type figure, how does it look like? I mean, and it is upward.
Downward on the same side.
Upward, and on the same sides. Now I am convinced with this information, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Now when you have it something like this, now when for this condition only, now if I have if it is minus x square and minus x to the power of 4 minus x to the power of 8 and minus x to the power of 100, how will this change? Now if it is x square, let's say it goes
Downwards.
x to the power of 100 means which it becomes like this, x to the minus x to the power of 100. So you see again the endings are on the same side and parabola type figure, right? And this, forget about this part, it can be here also, that is we are not considering it right now. Okay, we'll come to that part later on.
So you said that the higher the power, the more steep it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You see, like this, it will be happening like x to the
Yeah,
power
most
of 100.
flat on the x-axis.
It will be
we
more
can
flat.
say.
You'll be like that. Okay.
So
So
if
now,
it's more flat, then won't it be gentler?
sorry, it won't be a what?
So if it's more flat, then won't it be gentler?
Yeah, like you can't be considering that as a polynomial. I mean, this thing. What do you say? Parabola anymore, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but you will. All I wanted to say was it's like parabola type figure, right? And the endings are on the same side when it is an even degree, and when the leading coefficient determines whether it is above the x-axis or below the x-axis. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Clear? So now we understood this much. Now let's go to the odd part. Now you would have seen the graph of x cube. How does the graph of x cube look like? Something like this, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And what about minus x cube? It goes something like this.
Yes,
Direction is reversed.
Direction is reversed. So this is for minus x cube. Now what about x to the power of, let's say, 101? How does that look like? Now you see, you will see something like this.
Yes,
as it approaches to.
So it becomes more steeper like this.
Yes,
something like this. So you know
process
it's very, very steep. But again, you see the endings are on the opposite end.
Opposite side.
And when you have it minus x square again here, so you see that this turns out to be something like this. So this is like, let's say this is my minus x to the power of 101.
101.
Yes.
So what is essential that we have to understand is when the degree is odd, the endings are on the opposite ends. And when it is negative or positive, when it is now this was the case for positive odd and this was case for negative odd. So what do you see when it is positive odd? You see the nature of graph is like this, and it's just that it becomes very steep, right? And when you see when this is negative odd, it becomes more steeper, but you see the nature of graph does not change, isn't it? It is just this way, isn't it? Now we have some information with us, right? And I'm going to exploit only these informations, right? So all we did here was we just played around with whether it is even or odd and what is the leading coefficient, correct? I will not erase this. Now let's do the graph for this part. Okay. Now, sorry, here, since I modified that equation and then we wrote it like this for simplicity for drawing it. So now let's do the graph for this part. Okay. So now I'll erase this. Okay. Because anyways, we are not using this anymore, isn't it? So I'll just.
Yes, sir. Sir, one question, sir. Can you please just elaborate with an example on this the steep thing that you're explaining? For example,
I'll take that.
Plot y equal x square and x power 4.
So it will rise up and fall down for this graph.
One more thing.
You can say on that, yeah.
So one more thing. 1 minus 1 came from the bracket x plus 8. Okay. And 1 minus 1 came from the bracket x plus 5, right? So 2 minus 1 came, right? So ideally minus 1 into minus 1 becomes plus 1, correct?
Correct.
And then if we apply that with minus x raised to 4, so the leading coefficient remains negative, sir, right?
No, it's become minus 1 whole square.
It's all product, no?
For x minus 8.
This is all product. This is all product, you see.
Minus 1 of whole square become positive.
So minus 1 into minus 1 becomes plus 1, right? So plus 1 into minus x raised to 4 remains minus x raised to 4.
Okay. So now you see when I simply write minus x to the power of 4.
Correct.
Right? What is the leading coefficient here?
-1.
-1. So when I wrote this -1, it's basically I'm taking out from here only.
Correct.
So this turns out to be -1 x to the power of 4.
Correct.
Right? And over here I had this -1. So what I did, -1 times -1 made it plus.
+1. Correct.
Now which minus you are talking about?
Sir, he is saying about x plus 8 वाला minus.
x plus
8 वाला minus भी
वहाँ पे वो
explain
पॉजिटिव हो जाएगा ना?
That is already -1 whole square.
That is inside the, yeah, inside the square.
We did something like this. What we did this -1 we took out. You can see, right? Once you take out, and you see this power is still there. Let it be there. Once you take out.
Oh, I understood. I'm sorry. Understood.
Okay, no
My bad. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No problem. So now let's understand this. Okay. So now another thing that we have to keep it in our mind, that when we have it, this power thing, it bounces back. So now how does the graph of x square, let's say x minus 2 the whole square look like?
It is a parabola which will bounce on the x-axis.
When x is equal
to
parabola on point number 2.
At 2, right? So at 2, it will be parabola and it will be upward.
Upward.
Yes. Why upward?
Because x is positive. X is square is
because the leading coefficient is positive, and this is something going to be like this, right?
Yes, sir.
Clear?
Right.
When it is, let's say when this is x cube, then how will this graph look like? Something like this?
Upward and downward.
Yes, sir.
Or it should be like this.
First and
not
third
like this.
quadrant.
Like this, right?
Yes, sir.
When it is something like this.
Why? You have added, sir? How you
Sir,
added?
because it is positive, no, sir.
Sorry?
X cube is positive, so that's why.
Coefficient is positive.
For negative powers, the x cube is negative. That's why it is in third quadrant. When x is positive, then x cube is also positive. That's why it is in first quadrant.
Right.
The graph should be like this only.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Sir.
Any doubt here still? No doubt?
No, sir, I have one.
No, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, if you have.
Sir, this 2 you have written, no?
How did we get
just?
it?
Yeah.
So you see that at what value this will become 0? Look at this function. At what value this is? I'm not drawing y-axis here. Okay, I'm just simply assuming this is in y.
Got it. So
at what value of x this
x equals 2?
That's how we get it.
Sorry.
Okay, so now we understood this much. Okay, so now we understood that when it is x square, right? What was happening when it was x minus 2 the whole square? It was bouncing, right? And when it is x cube, what is happening? It is crossing, but you can see with slight bending, right? What it was just x minus 2. How will the graph look like?
Straight.
Straight line.
Straight line like this.
Linear.
Right.
Yes.
Crossing the x-axis.
It goes like this, right? No bendings and all. It goes just in a linear fashion, right? So now I have this information with me, right? So now what I'll do with this? So first of all, you see whatever the factors are given to me here, right? I will express all those factors on my number line, considering this as my x-axis. So I'll consider this as my x-axis and consider this as 0. Okay. So now you see what are the factors. Now you see here, what is its factor? 0. What will be the factor from here? What do you get? 1. So I can just simply write that as +1. From here?
2.
Plus 2. From here?
Minus
3.
So I can express this here. From here?
5.
Plus 5.
5.
So I can write down here. And from here?
Minus 8.
Minus 8. Okay. So now you see that. Now what we have to do is, what is the degree of this polynomial?
11.
And what is the leading coefficient? Positive. If it is odd and positive, right? What will happen? How will the nature of graph look like? Something like this?
Degree of
The first term would be like a n x n.
Okay. Just keep it in your mind. How was x cube graph? How was x cube graph? Like this only, no? Something like
that.
Yes. Just nature. Just look at the nature. It was like this, right?
Yes, sir.
And I don't know. So when it is positive and it is odd, you see the nature, the endings are on the opposite side.
Opposite side.
And the nature is something like this, right? What is happening inside, I don't know. Let's see what happens there, right? But all I got to know is when it is an 11, it is an odd and leading coefficient is positive, I can simply think of at 5 it must be happening something like this, and at 8 it must be going something like this. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Okay.
I can think of so much. But what is happening inside, I still don't know. So let's understand this. How does it happen? Let's go at 8. I'll come to this way. Just let me finish it here. So now you see at 8 what was happening? At 8 it is square. So it must bounce back, right? So it must bounce back. So it is bouncing back. Then next comes at 3. So what is multiplicity of 8?
2.
Sorry, minus 8.
2.
So it was bouncing back. Now at okay, yeah, I get it. So now the next is minus 3. So I'm done with this one. At minus 3, what is happening? What is the degree?
1.
1.
So it should cross in a linear
Cross.
fashion.
It's a straight line.
Yeah.
Straight line.
So it should cross in a linear fashion. So it should go something like this.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, the next comes 0. At 0, what is happening? X to the power of 4.
It bounces.
It bounces, right? So
Yeah.
it bounces in the sense it must go something like this. Right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Now at 1, what is happening? So I'm done with this as well. So at 1,
It
what is
bounces.
Again,
It
again bounces. So how will it bounce? It will go something like this.
Yes, it bounces.
So it must bounce like this.
Right.
What is happening at
2 it crosses.
2? It crosses.
It crosses.
And what happens at 5?
Now it will
It
go.
again crosses.
Again, it crosses.
It again crosses.
Right.
So I got this nature of graph, right?
Bounce back.
So I made my graph for f of x. Now you take any graphing polynomials. I mean, you do any kind of, you use any tool on your system, okay? You will find the nature of graph of f of x will be like this.
Sir, how we will define the peak of all this graph? Like
So forget about that peak part, because we cannot do anything about the peak, and you will see in your graded assignment or anywhere, peak question will not be asked to you.
One small clarification,
Sir, why
gentlemen.
the parabola on -8 is downwards, sir?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, sir. I have also doubt, sir.
Now you do not think here कि this is positive, no? तो फिर तो इसको ऊपर रहना चाहिए, right? Don't go it that way.
Sir, one
Yes,
more
sir.
question that we
No,
had
no,
in graded
See,
assignment.
this is a polynomial f of x, and you are considering this as a whole polynomial, right? So as a
Yes,
polynomial as a whole, you will see the nature as a whole, right?
Oh, okay.
Bouncing and all that and all is like local
Then
property.
sir, सबका nature downward होना चाहिए ना, sir?
Sir, one thing is that
I'll come to that. Yeah. Wait.
sir, ending of the polynomial will be decided by the leading term, so there is no confusion, right?
No. Endings will be defined by the degree of the polynomial.
Okay.
Okay.
The endings
What
will
is
be
the end
defined
here?
by-
A and x power n.
What do you mean by end here?
Both
The
put
endings are
together,
this.
degree and
The endings are this.
yeah.
Sir, first clarify that x plus 8 पे ये downward क्यों है, sir?
X plus 8 पे डाउनवर्ड क्यों है?
Yes, sir.
मतलब अपवर्ड क्यों है? अपवर्ड क्यों होना चाहिए? ये बताओ.
Sir, because it is positive. X square is positive, sir.
X square is positive नहीं, इसका लीडिंग कोएफिशिएंट क्या है? पॉजिटिव. बट देखो, I was telling you in step 1 and step 2 what are we seeing on major. Your globally what are you doing here is globally ki matlab this function is ending on the same side or it is crossing right?
Order, 11.
So you see at the end, like when you're taking as an entire function, it should cross. It says the degree is 11 and it should cross, right? So you see the endings are being crossed. ये बाकी का जो फैक्टर्स जो है these small factors, these are the local properties. That is why starting में ही what we did कि हाँ भाई ये तो मतलब what you did was like you told like this is its degree is 11, right? You told that degree is 11 and the leading coefficient is negative. So हमें we got to know in the beginning itself like okay the graph was something like this, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
The graph will go something like this. These factors, the small mini factors, these are the local properties. Right?
Yes, sir.
This is something we got after multiplying all of these, right?
Okay.
है ना? So that is why this becomes irrelevant कि हाँ इसका तो नेगेटिव है, इसका कुछ नेगेटिव नहीं होता है. Polynomial जो big polynomial उसका leading coefficient becomes the sense, isn't it?
Sir, just to conclude on this, the nature of the ending and starting, we need the sign of the leading coefficient, right? And then degree of the polynomial.
So now for this polynomial only, now let's say this the same polynomial f of x. Okay, I'll just do the same thing. Now let's say I have another polynomial g of x. I'll use some different color maybe.
Sir, one y-intercept
So I have a doubt.
Okay, just a minute, just a
turning
minute. All
points
your
of this
doubts will
curve,
go off. Let me do one more example. Now, two more
Can you
examples.
show the question once again?
एक minute. I'll take you there. Just a minute. X minus x to the power of 4. Let's say this is the case. X minus 1 the whole square. X minus 2. X
रुक जा
minus
कहे ना आधा घंटे में कल चलेंगे.
x minus 5. X plus 8 the whole square. So you see that this is exactly the same function, but what I did, I just changed the leading coefficient. Now I want you to draw. Now I want you to help me draw this graph. Okay. So what I did was I just changed the degree is 11 only for g of x, right?
Yes.
And
Yes,
in
sir.
step 2, I'm just changing the nature of the leading coefficient. Okay. So what is the nature of leading coefficient? Is it positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative. And it is 11 degree. And I have drawn all the factors, correct? So
Right.
now what are the end points here? These are the end two factors, right? So now I can simply say that when it was minus x cube, how was the graph looking like? Like this, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So I can say that I will simply just close my eyes and I'll say at this point it will go like this, at 5 it will go like this. That's all.
Downward.
Yes.
Right, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll just simply close my eyes and say like, no matter what is its local property, I don't care. But at the end roots, this is the nature it's going to have, right? So you see
Yes, sir.
the leading coefficient. Now you see this was an odd degree, 11. You see the endings are on the opposite side. And this nature, whether it's going to open like this or like this, is something defined by the leading coefficient, right?
Right.
Over here,
So
the
I have
leading
a
coefficient.
doubt.
Sir,
That,
then whole graph shifted downwards, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Wait. Let me just complete this graph, then we'll take up the doubts. So now you see at x equals to minus, now x plus 8, what is it? At minus 8, what is it happening? It is square. So that means what? It should bounce back. So I'll say again, it will bounce back, right?
Yes.
Okay, the next comes, so I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Next comes minus 3. So that is somewhere here.
straight
At here,
line.
what is happening?
Linear.
It should
Right.
cross. So isko cross kara dete hain. So that is going to happen something like
Like
this.
mirror effect.
Sir,
Mirror
graph
effect.
is a mirror effect of right. Sir.
It's just that I have taken negative. So you see that g of x is negative of f of x, right? Now
Right.
at
But
0,
this
what
should
is
be
happening?
straight line. No, sir. Straight line. It looks like a curve.
Sir, it
So
will be a
here,
mirror
here,
graph.
here. Here, you see, you just have to see here. It is going to cross it in a linear fashion. That's all.
Yes, sir.
Okay. At 0, what is happening?
It will bounce back.
It will bounce back, right? So it will go to 0 and then bounce back.
Return.
And at
right.
1, what is
At
happening?
1 again, it will bounce back.
Again,
Again, it will bounce back. At 2, what is it happening? Crosses
will
in a
cross.
linear fashion.
2.
And at 5, what is happening?
It will cross again.
Cross
Yeah.
5.
5.
And you see, it matches correctly with what we are doing, right? So one more thing, what you can make over here is, you see, this figure is exactly the mirror image of f of x, right? So I can happily say that here my g of x was nothing, but it was negative of f of x.
Yes, sir.
Right.
When you see this is happening, you see this is, you get a mirror image of this, isn't it?
Right.
Yes.
Sir.
But the whole objective of this was to make the graph of this. And how did we make? By only two things. What is the leading coefficient and what is the degree of the polynomial? And that was actually helping us to tell on overall how does the nature of these things look like, and that is something defined by knowing the extreme roots of this polynomial, right?
Sir, what would be the turning points of this graph, sir?
So now let's come to this part. The number of turning points for this graph. So now which is the graph is here. This is one turning point. So I'll mark that with the green wherever the turning points are. So this is one turning point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many turning points?
8 turning points.
Could you tell me what will be the turning point for this g of x? Same.
Obviously, it will same 8.
It should be 10, sir.
Yes,
According to the
sir.
formula
Why
n
this
minus
happens?
1. It should be
That
10, but
is-
it can
That
be
is
less
that
than
is
that.
that is the
No,
maximum.
no.
That is the maximum number of turning
8.
points.
8, sir.
8, sir. 8.
But sir, if it asks us in the question that find the number of turning points, then what we will write, 8 or 10?
So that's what, no, like 8 you will write. But
Sir, but where the other two are?
like what you have to understand is
Arre,
maximum
that
turning
can
points
be
will be.
maximum 10.
Maximum possible.
So how can be maximum 10?
Degree
n
minus
minus
1.
1. Degree minus 1.
Oh,
If
okay.
you-
N minus
yeah.
1.
Okay. So how we could have achieved that is, you see this power, this factor, when these factors were not there, right? When all these were a linear factors, then you could have had that many turning points, isn't it?
So how will they compute x belongs to?
X belongs to?
I mean, like infinity to minus 2, etc.
Range. She's
Okay,
asking
okay.
about the
Now,
range.
okay. I get it. So let's do some kind of problems on this, and then I'll just do a revision of this. Okay?
Sir,
Okay,
So that's fine.
sorry to interrupt you, sir. Sir, this is the right time to discuss activity question number 2 of
I
4.1.
know that. I'll come to that
It
part.
is
later.
regarding same turning point, sir.
Okay, so tell me what is
Sir,
it?
I also want to know around about the tangents, where the
Tangents, forget it, right? Oh, okay, you had one question. So tangency, so where do you see, generally at turning points, the tangents are 0. When you draw the slope over here, it will be 0. So as if now just keep it in your mind that at turning points, only at turning points, the slope is 0. Clear?
Hello.
As if now
Yes,
just
sir.
keep it in this.
Because
Once
it
you
is-
come in the
Hello.
calculus part, we'll do more about it. But
Hello,
as
sir.
for whatever you have learned,
Sir, can we say
I have
the turning
filled
number of
out
turning point by just looking the polynomial expression?
you can tell that. You can say this. How many turning points are there?
Without plotting a graph.
You can do that. You need some calculus tools.
Sir, we can just
Okay.
add the
So at this
powers.
point of time, we
At
can
this point of
not
time,
say.
you have to learn graph.
Okay, we should first plot a graph, then we
Discussing
will.
question number 2 of activity 4.12.
You can do it by
create
max.
more
See, I'm not
of
going
this
to the
concept.
activity question I say randomly and then do the things, because everybody here is on the same page, and I just don't want to jump there and
Sir,
do that.
please go with the flow, sir.
Yeah, that's right.
Sir,
So
sir,
I will take up those doubts.
Hello,
Don't
sir.
worry about it. I'll take
So
up that doubt.
one question. So in that x
Sir, I have doubt
plus
on-
8 to the whole square, you have done the bounce back part. Everything's clear. In order to do double check, can I still find the vertex of that quadratic equation and double check whether it's really bending at the same time, same place?
Here, this one.
Yeah. I mean, in the -8, we just bounce back and we again go to the turning point towards minus.
You can do that.
Or can I still expand that x plus 1 whole square to x square minus 15x, something like that, and find the vertex and see whether it's really touching to the vertex point, something like that?
You want to expand this and check with its vertex?
No, just for my knowledge, double check.
Yes. You can do that.
Thanks.
Yeah, you can do that. Or else, like if you want to cross check whether this graph is right or not, you can just do a Desmos, go to Desmos and just type this equation, or like go to GeoGebra and just type this equation. You will get a similar result.
Correct.
Of course, this peaks
Desmos
will
is
be
the
different.
website.
Yeah,
No,
it's
sir,
a,
app, sir, app भी है.
it's
Desmos
app.
app भी है.
हाँ, मतलब you can say it's a website as well as app. दोनों है. But I think website thing you can do that. You can but you see what you will see there is these peaks might be different. These peaks might be different. And we are not worried about the peaks. To the same part of this question, okay, for this question only, if I have to discuss you, if I tell a statement saying that the function strictly increases in the restricted domain phi to infinity, is this statement right?
Restricted
Yes,
domain
sir.
5 to
No.
Function strictly increases
Yes, sir.
in the restricted domain phi to infinity.
Yes.
No.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, no. Why am I saying no? I don't know.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Because it's a straight line and it will be.
Yes.
This will go like this. This is not going to bend anymore.
Yes, sir.
This is definitely
Yes.
going to go like this, and this will definitely go like this. This is not going to bend anymore. The bending is done.
Okay, yeah, right.
Hello,
Sir, what can you tell about -8 and -3 in between?
-8 and -3 in between.
Yeah,
Okay.
there is one greater assignment.
So here what you will
Decreasing
see.
and then
It first decreases
Increasing,
and
then
then
decreasing.
you might have a
Decreasing
question
and
in
then
your graded
increasing.
assignment.
Decreasing and
Yeah,
increasing.
first decreasing, then increasing.
First decreasing and
Sir,
then
is the
increasing.
function
Okay,
1,
thank you.
Okay. So now
Yeah.
in this
Not,
restricted domain,
it will be
I'll come
many
to
one.
this. Just a minute.
So
Many
please
one.
x belongs to वाला बता दीजिए.
Okay. 1 minute. In restricted domain phi to infinity, is my function f of x 1 to 1?
1. Yes, sir.
Is it 1 1?
1.
1,
yes,
sir.
sir. It is 1.
Yes, it is 1 1. Because you see, now you have to convince yourself that this is not going to bend anymore. अब ये
Yes, sir.
आएगा ही, ठीक है,
और
it is
एक ही
going-
वैल्यू मिलेगा अपने को.
अब yeah,
Sir,
that is
one
always going to give you
one means like what is one?
what is
One
one
input, one output. You will
one
get.
input, one output. Yeah, simple.
Oh,
So
okay.
for one input means for one x value you have single y value.
Their pre-image and image always 1 1.
हाँ, like that. Clear?
विकी सर एक क्वेश्चन, ये 0 पॉइंट कैसे आई है, मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया.
0 point?
0 कैसे आया? -8 -3
स्क्वायर है
1
ना,
2 5 समझ
x
में आया.
x power
X to the
4
power 4 है ना?
0 यहाँ पे है ना, ये
x power 4 थे.
X to the power of 4.
आ गया समझ में?
सर एक चीज पूछनी थी.
अभी नहीं
I
समझ
have
में
one
आया, बताता हूँ.
It is a fact. It is in factorized form, no? So it is x.
अच्छा, आप
4 is
देखो
equal
इसको
to-
हम लोग ऐसे लिख सकते हैं, x minus
X
0 to the
minus
power
0.
4.
Yes sir.
राइट हाँ.
अब आप समझ में आ जाएगा.
Sir,
Okay.
sir, I have a question. So in the domain of x is equal to -8 to x is equal to -3, between that, that means this is not 1 on 1, right?
No, it is not.
And secondly, हमारा जो original polynomial था, उसमें जो last term है, it was not x plus 8, it was x minus 8. Am I right or
minus
wrong?
x minus 8.
Oh, it was originally -x minus 8.
हाँ, मतलब इसको मैंने ओरिजिनली कर दिया था बाद में ऐसे.
आपने बाद में किया था ना,
हाँ,
originally
मतलब-
तो आपने x minus 8
हाँ ठीक है,
किया
अभी
था
इसको
ना?
आप ओरिजिनली ले लो ऐसे.
Second original.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
So, okay,
Sir, one
what we'll do is
question.
I'll just summarize
How many?
this.
Sir, one question. How many polynomial degrees will be there in there will be infinite polynomial degrees
In your exams?
No,
You
no.
would have.
This is the question here. That
11 bro, 11.
This one. I didn't get.
हेलो.
Yeah.
सर ये जो फैक्टराइज फॉर्म में दिया गया है, तो सर अगर ये इसकी डिग्री जो है x minus 1 के पावर 2 है, मान लीजिए यहाँ पे 3 हो गया है, तो फिर कैसे होगा? और ये x minus x है,
ठीक है. I'll come to that.
-1 की पावर 3 हो जाए तब फिर.
ठीक है. So I'll take up another problem. I'll just do another problem.
Can you please explain how to judge 1 1 in the left hand side also, 0 to
Okay,
minus
I'll
8
tell
minus
you.
8 to minus 3?
Okay, so could you tell me, is this
sir.
function strictly decreasing in the domain -infinity to -8?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it strictly
Yes, sir.
decreasing? Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
If it is strictly decreasing, then it is definitely
0
going
to infinity to minus 8 you are asking?
minus infinity to -8.
-8. Correct.
So -8 to minus
Sir,
infinity.
-8 should be enclosing, right? It is open.
No, -infinity to -8, it is increasing.
-8
Increasing,
will
huh?
close.
Sorry, it is increasing.
Increasing.
It is
Yeah,
increasing.
increasing.
In that interval.
So
In
can
this
we write
interval, it is
-8 to minus
increasing. Even in
infinity?
this interval, it is increasing.
So
Sorry.
can we write it to -8
Sir.
to minus infinity?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, this interval, it will be always told in the closed interval of 8, right? Not in open interval of 8.
You see that whether the question was whether this function is strictly increasing in this interval. Even if you give it as minus, it is still
Okay.
right.
So will it
still
become 1
increasing
1 on 2? 1 1 on 2? Can you explain, please?
So now I'll tell you that. So you see, to do that, okay, how do you basically know that whether it is one to one function or
Sir,
not?
just to conclude, so the first one, starting point we have to see, and then ending point, whether it is increasing or decreasing, right? Like
vertical horizontal line test, it will be great for one.
That is something you can always say, but you see,
Yes.
that is something you will learn later on. But for time being, you just understand this. When this function,
Sir, I have a doubt, sir. Can we make any conclusion about how many degree of this function by the seeing just graph?
Degree of this?
मतलब ग्राफ को, yes sir, ग्राफ को देखने से क्या हम बता सकते हैं कि इसकी डिग्री कितनी होगी?
That becomes difficult. You see, for this you can say the degrees, मतलब you can say it is 2, but need not be 2. It can be any odd, any even degree here, right? It can be 4. It can be 8.
Sir, based on the
yes, but I can always tell what is the minimum degree. Minimum degree यहाँ तो पक्का 2.
3.
2.
Yes, minimum. Yes, sir, 2 होगा.
It will be 8, right?
Minimum 9 होगा.
Wait. So here it is going to be 2, right?
Yes, sir.
Over
Yeah,
here,
right.
what would be the minimum degree?
9 it is.
1, sir.
1. Over here,
One,
what
sir.
could be the minimum degree?
Two, sir.
Over here, 1. So like that, you can always
Two,
make
sir.
it. Yeah, you can always.
Two,
make
sir.
it.
Can
So
you please
9.
explain this 1
It will be
1?
9. It will be 9 here.
Okay. Let me just
Yes,
finish
sir.
this
Please
1
come
part.
to 1 sir. That is
Yeah,
important.
please.
Yeah. Okay. So now you see that. So how do you get to know whether it is 1 to 1 or not? Okay. So how do you say that when for a single input you have a single output? That is
Yes, true.
That is 1 condition, right?
Yes.
When I extend this further, single input is nothing. Input is your x values. This is your
Yes.
output values, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right. Now look at this. For each x values, you are getting unique f of x. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Right. So from this to this interval, I can say that this is 1 1, right? Because for single input,
Yes.
I'm getting a single output. But come to this part. Okay, come to this part. Understand this. Okay. Let's say this was 4 and this is like -7 and this is, let's say, -4. So you see that here in this interval, -8 to -3, what happens? At -8 and -3, what happens? For -7, what is the output you are getting? 4. For -4, what are you getting? 4. That
4.
means for two different values of x, I'm getting a single output value as 4.
Can we
That
say
means-
even degree, odd degree is 1 1 always, and even degree
Do not
is
conclude
not
that.
1?
Do not conclude that.
No.
Again, because you see, what is the degree of this polynomial? What is the degree of this polynomial? Odd.
It's
Can you
odd.
conclude that? No, right?
Within the interval. I'm asking within the interval.
You have to restrict that again. Now if I have to, again, depends on what interval are you giving, isn't it? Even for that,
That's what interval only I'm asking. If within the interval multiplicity is odd, can I say it as on 1 1?
No.
And
Do
if
not
the
conclude.
no.
Do not conclude.
No.
Do not conclude. See, just simply draw the graph, okay, and see that only at the endings it's happening like this, right? Only at the
only in
ending
this.
it's happening, no? But in
Sorry.
between, if you see, you are always getting some kind of. I mean, it's not going to be 1 to 1 function. It's like many to 1, that kind of functions, right?
Sir, in this given question, -8 to -3, it is a parabola and it is having the symmetry. So that is the reason it is not 1 to 1, like it is always having 2 images for the
No. You do not take it. Okay, for simplicity, you are saying this as in parabola. It's just because you see, now here comes one thing that you have to understand. If I have to say this is a horizontal line, right? So when you draw a horizontal line in this interval, right? In this interval, a horizontal line should touch this function at most 1 for it to be an 1 1 function.
Oh, okay. That is the test. Okay.
Get it? Okay. Now in this interval, -infinity to -8, what do you see? You do this horizontal line. Draw it anywhere. It will touch at maximum 1 in this interval. Again, that condition is in this interval. Clear? But you see in this interval, when that is -8 to -3, when I do a horizontal line test, when I do this horizontal line, what do I see? It touches at 2 point. Right? Again, take this.
Yes.
It touches at 2 point. That means for two different values of x, I'm getting a single output. Clear?
Clear. Okay.
That is not. Then that is violating that condition. It cannot be 1 1 in that case, right? Okay. So now we understood this part. So let's quickly do.
Excuse me, sir. Bounce वाले में 1 1 नहीं हो रहा है ना सर?
क्या?
जिसमें भी बाउंस आ रहा है उसमें 1 1 नहीं आ रहा है. ये कह सकते हैं क्या सर?
Because x square वाला ग्राफ
No, that's what he is saying. No.
For time being, वैसे कुछ generalize, do not generalize something like that. For just time being, our objective is draw the graph and do this horizontal thing in that interval. Okay.
So x belongs to वाला
It
please
will
sir.
be much easier.
X belongs to what?
1 1 function. x belongs to infinity to -2 ये क्या रहता है सर? ये मेरे को नहीं समझ में आ रहा है.
Okay. So is it 1 to 1 function in the interval when x belongs to, let's say,
correct sir, यही वाला.
infinity? अच्छा ठीक है. तो ठीक है. When x belongs to 1 to infinity, is it 1 to 1 function? 5
yes,
to infinity. Is it
Yes,
right?
sir.
Yes.
Because when you extend
Yes.
this and you draw this multiple horizontal, एक ही बार touch होगा. It touches at 1 maximum. That means ये तो 1 1 है. right?
Okay.
Now अगर मैं 2 से infinity दे रहा हूँ, suppose like when I give it from 2 to infinity, when x belongs to 2 to infinity, is this still a 1-to-1 function? The answer is no. Why?
No.
Because if I draw a horizontal line test over here, this is fine. यहाँ तक तो ठीक है. But the
यहाँ पे
moment I
5 पे
put
टकरा
down, इधर आके 2 हो जाएगा, right? So it's
Yes,
gone.
sir.
So at that point of time, it goes on, right? So okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is something we understood now. Now let's draw this. Let's do this problem again, another type of a problem, and let's wind up with this part, the graphing thing. Okay.
Sir, one more thing, sir. Minus
can-
8 to minus infinity. How can you say that is increasing?
Minus infinity to
Minus 8.
So you
Because
see,
minus infinity is very less.
this is negative y. Let's say this is minus 10, and over here, let's say this is minus 5. So from
yeah.
minus 10, from you are going to minus 5, which is bigger?
Bigger
Minus 5
number
is
minus
bigger.
5.
Minus 5.
Yeah.
So as you are approaching x, what is happening? Your f of x value is increasing.
Increasing. Okay, I thought the opposite way.
No problem. Okay. So now let's go to another problem. A simple. All doubts clear? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sir, whenever they ask for 1-to-1 or onto, surely they will give the, range, right? Without giving the range, they will not ask, right? Okay, sir. Thank you.
So let's draw this graph. Mm, 3 minus. Okay. Now I have to do the graph for this. Okay. Now you tell me what is the degree of this polynomial f of x. Step number 1, you have to find out the degree.
Hello, sir.
First tell me what is the
degree. Sir, is
9. 9, sir.
9.
degree of f of x is 3 plus 1, 4, 4 plus 2,
9.
6 plus 3, 9. So degree of f of x is 9, and this is odd. Okay, maybe I can just give it as something. Let's make it as और दे देता हूँ. X minus 4. Sorry, let's not give it as 4, but 3. No, 3 दे दिया हूँ. Then we can give it as. Just give it as x. Just give it as
7,
x.
anything, sir, like 7.
Just give it as x. Now what is the degree of the polynomial?
10.
10.
सर एक्स स्क्वायर करके कोई दीजिएगा सर.
हाँ, स्क्वायर तो है ना एक.
नहीं वो बीच में जैसे 3 माइनस एक्स है ना, वो 3 माइनस एक्स स्क्वायर.
अच्छा वैसे भी ब्रदर.
Customize question.
You want to give me a square here?
Oh, फाड़ो मत उसे. Bossy तुम्हें फाड़
Okay,
देगी.
I'll mute.
Anyway, sir, but
Okay. So now let's go to this part. The degree of f of x is 10, suppose.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, now degree of f of x is 10. What is the leading coefficient term?
Positive.
Negative.
Make it positive. Sir, yeah.
Negative.
But make it positive, right?
But let's
Positive.
Sir, it is positive, sir. Minus.
Positive, sir. Positive.
Wait, let's see that how is it positive. X plus 2 and x plus 9 the whole square. यहाँ पे देखो, like what I can do is I can take out minus 1 the whole cube and x minus 3 the whole cube, right? I can write this like this. So from here, when I do the product, I get minus 1 and minus of minus, that makes it plus. So I get overall f of x to be plus, right? So this will become plus x minus 4 the whole cube, x plus 2, x plus 9 the whole square, and then I have x minus 3 the whole cube, right? So the next is the graphings. The graphings.
Okay, sir, I have a question. Can we graph this polynomial without converting x positive?
कर सकते हो लेकिन फिर तुम्हें दिमाग में calculation, you have to do it, that some calculations in your mind, and eventually you will do mistake.
With what steps you follow, sir.
Okay.
This itself is difficult.
Now you see that we have f of x, and now you have to do the now we are going to do the graphing of this, right? So what are the roots? We'll go from here. First we can
0.
Okay.
Plus
4, 3,
plus 4, plus 4,
plus 4,
minus
plus
2,
3,
minus 2,
2 minus 9.
minus 9, plus 9, minus 9, okay,
Plus 3.
plus
9
3.
plus 3.
Okay. So now these are, how many roots do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have altogether 5, and I can see I have listed them all on my number line. Now next I have to go in the order. Degree is 10, right? And the coefficient is positive. So what? ये तो ऐसे ही रहेगा,
parabola.
Upside pen.
अपसाइड एक ही साइड में रहना है, right? It's going to be on the same side, right? So now let's see what happens at 9. At 9, what is it happening? It's bouncing back.
Yeah, it's bouncing.
So it's bouncing means it will something bounce like this, है ना?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm done with this. At 2, what is at -2, what is happening?
Linear.
Just
Linear.
crossing,
It will
crossing it.
pass.
Yeah.
Crossing -2.
Okay.
Crossing.
Yeah.
At 0, what is it happening?
Again crossing.
Again,
Crossing.
Because
Crossing.
it is again, what is its power? 1. So it's again has to cross like this. Do not consider this as a thing like a parabola or something. Okay. Now at 3, what is it happening?
Bounce back.
It's a crossing. It's a crossing, but yeah.
It's
It's a
crossing,
crossing.
but it's bending, right?
Bending.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will go
So
to
you will go. It will not cross in a linear fashion. At it went as it went like at 0. It'll something go like this. It'll something go like this,
yes, it will go to
right?
next.
And then I can simply join them, right? And then at 4, what is it happening? Again, something like that only, right? So
Yeah.
again,
Right, sir.
I can do like this, and then it will go like this, and then bend it and join. Clear?
Yeah.
So we
Only
made
at,
it.
only at the crossing point we have to follow the
Right.
linear
Right.
Sir, why they have not sharp edges?
Sorry?
Why they not have sharp edges like -2 and 0 के between में जो
If they have sharp edges, then
It
they
is
are
not a
also
polynomial.
Polynomial.
yeah. Okay.
तुम
It is
मेरा
the
knowledge check
definition
कर
of
रही हो?
This is
polynomial.
the cubic function at 3 and 4.
नहीं सर ऐसा कोई इंटेंशन नहीं था सर.
टेस्ट ले रहा आपका
Confirming whether I really know polynomials or not.
What happens if you keep 3 minus x as it is, and if you draw the function
Sorry,
instead of
ma'am.
changing?
Sorry,
What
ma'am, it
happens
was,
if
yeah, go ahead. Yes.
3 minus x, instead of x minus 3 whole cube, we will keep 3 minus x whole cube and we will draw the original function. What happens? Can you show?
X minus, instead of this, what?
3 minus x was there, right? Original.
mirror,
It will
minus.
be same. It
Original
will be
function.
same. It will be
No,
same.
minus.
With minus.
With minus. It will be mirror.
We can do that also, right? Any problem? We can do like that.
And the equation f of x was like that, so he has drawn like that. He has taken -1 cube.
It's
If it
just
was
for
3 minus x,
simplicity, you know, like
That is for simplicity. Yes, right, sir.
even if you take this graph and do, you will get the same thing. But
Can we draw along with this? What happens?
okay, let's do that. But again, you have to first identify what is your leading coefficient, positive or negative, right?
Negative.
So from here you can no, it's not negative. From here also you can understand it is
Oh, it's
positive.
positive only. Yeah.
Positive only. And what is the degree? +10.
Plus
Then
10.
I understood this is going to be like this, right?
But from here it's showing -x, right? Okay, fine. Clear. Understood.
Graph will be the same.
It's just that what we are doing in the mind is something I am presenting it here. That's all.
Okay.
Isn't it? It's just the same thing.
So can we calculate the turning points for this equation?
5.
Could you tell me how many turning points are there for this graph?
2, 5.
5.
5.
4, 5.
5.
Okay. Okay. So now we know there are 5 turning points as if now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, at
Some of you
point
might
5
have doubts like, okay.
Yes, sir. At point 4,
Huh.
why we could not account that turning point?
I got it.
Sir,
That's why
3 and
in
4.
your graded assignment, we did not give a question of cubic and we did not see, you know, like this is something, a saddle point. Okay. That is something you will learn in your calculus later on. So let's not go that way right now, but this is certainly not a turning point. This is not a
The
turning point.
Turning
turning
point
points
means
are these only.
increasing to decreasing
in
to
a local
turning
interval.
will be there, no?
सर ये डाउट है सर मेरा.
ठीक है, वो सैडल पॉइंट बाद में पढ़ोगे, आप बाद में पढ़ोगे.
No, it is told, right? It is told it is a repeating roots. 3 roots are there.
Last video में explain किया था. Yesterday the instructor was explained very well. At the end you can watch the YouTube this.
You can see that.
Polynomial, why it is not considered as a turning point.
Actually, it is there in the class lecture also. Why it is not a turning point? Yeah.
Turning points.
Can you share the link of YouTube?
But professor says that
The
it will
previous
be a
one,
turning
previous one.
point
You
in
can go
calculus.
through the calendar.
That knowledge.
Okay. As if now what you just keep it in your mind is wherever this thing is happening, that increasing and decreasing in that local interval. If that is happening, now if this is my local interval, and you see it first decreases and then it increases. When this part is coming, then you can say that as a turning point. Okay. Over here, since this was not happening, it's basically a saddle point. So we are not getting into saddle point as if now. Let's just stick on to what is turning point. This concept we will learn more in the calculus, right? So as if now, what is required for your up to your qualifier, let's just stick it to that much. Okay. And we have made sure that we are just restricting ourselves to the turning point, and turning points, at turning points the slopes are 0. Just keep this much in your mind.
So for now, suppose you are showing this graph. Now it has 4 turning points.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have 5.
Okay,
5 turning points.
Sir.
Sir. Yeah. I think we are up to the time.
Turning point is
So I have one question.
Actually, we have another class.
Yeah, that's what. So
I have a question regarding one-to-one function for the odd when there's a saddle point. So can we say it is increasing, or there are two constant points wherein there's the same value on y-axis for on x-axis for y?
So over here, see, when you get something like this, so as if now, whatever it is, so whenever there is a concept of saddle point, we are avoiding it, right? We are not bringing it in the picture. So what we'll do here is we'll restrict the domain, and we'll say like from 4 to infinity.
Okay.
And then 4 is not included. So we
won't have something like 3.75 to infinity.
You will not have, definitely, of course. Like you need some more concepts, isn't it?
Right.
We just can't give you like that without teaching you that.
Sir, turning points is nothing
Sir,
but
if
the
it is
valleys and the plateaus. Can we conclude?
Yeah, for time.
And the plateau.
Yeah.
That problem at the saddle point, if it is open interval, can we say that it is increasing or decreasing if it is not closed interval?
Sorry, what?
See, at that saddle point, that last graph you showed, right, where it is going completely upwards. So there, can we say that at that point, if it is not it's kept open range that the starting, okay? So can you say after that it is increasing?
After what?
After 4. After 4.
It is completely increasing.
Okay.
So you see that whatever I'm doing it, like I'm showing this ending part, it's not ending there. It's actually goes to infinity. It keeps on increasing at both the ends. Okay, and there is no more bending after that. That is the maximum bending what you can have. It is inside that the extreme roots. That's all. After this is continuously increasing, both of them. Okay. So now you see, so basically decreasing over here and increasing over here, right? So that's the thing. It's not increasing.
Yeah, sir, that is getting out.
Yeah, it's okay. So now let's quickly go on to what we were doing and just finish it off. So I think now you will be able to solve this kind of question when a polynomial, something like this is given, right? And then you are asked to find out what is the number of turning points. Is p of x increasing in the function this interval? Is p of x is an odd function? P of x is 1-to-1 function when x belongs to 8 to infinity. Now this kind of question is doable, right? You can do these kind of questions.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Yes, we will not be doing it.
That constant, what we need to do, sir? Like the constant, the first one.
The first one.
See, 1 by 10,000 it is given. 10,000.
That's what. No, this doesn't matter. Like whatever it is given, all that matters is whether it is negative or positive. That's all.
Yes.
This value really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all what value it is. It is just that peak thing keeps varying. That is not a concern, right?
Shall we ignore that while drawing graph?
Yes. You can always ignore this leading. Only the nature is important, whether it is positive or negative. Let it be even 1 lakh or 1 crore or whatever. Just ignore it.
So
that
there,
is just simply to give you.
From that leading, we are getting the negative symbol. And rest of it, we need to see what are the symbols we are getting and need to conclude.
Correct.
What will be the final symbol?
From here, you see this will become positive only.
Yes.
This is positive. This is positive. This is positive. This is positive. Everything is positive. But the leading coefficient is negative. So this is negative. And what is the degree of this polynomial? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
9 or 10?
9.
Okay,
9.
So this is odd degree and the leading coefficient is
Okay.
negative. So how will this open? You know that, right?
X cube.
Minus x minus x cube.
Right, minus x cube, and in between something is happening, right?
Yes.
And that's something we can decide from the factors, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Then your graph is done. Once graph is done, what you will do? You can identify how many turning
Number
points
of
are there.
turning points.
Then you can even identify whether this function increases in this interval or not, 6 to 8,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
You can even find when p of x is an odd function,
Yes.
right?
Yes, sir.
Even
Yes, sir.
function, odd function.
F of x is equal
Odd
to
function.
minus x, like substitute करके minus
No,
x.
these are two different things. There is a difference between odd degree and odd functions, right? Odd
Yes, sir.
function is different things. Odd function and even functions are different concepts. Maybe I think
fx is equal to minus fx.
Yes, sir. जब x को minus x से replace करते हैं तो वहाँ पे positive,
हाँ,
negative define like
right.
odd function or even function.
हाँ. So that thing you can understand. So I think like odd
Can you
function
just
hasn't
touch
been
upon this odd function and even function, sir?
Is it there in your syllabus, this thing, like odd functions?
No,
right?
just
In a question, but
Just leave it
Briefly
there.
explain.
Okay,
Only
okay,
one
okay.
question is there in practice assignment. That's it.
Odd function is there in your this thing, or odd degree
Yes,
is there?
yes.
No,
One
odd
question
function
is
is
there
not
in
there, sir.
Odd
one
function,
question is there in practice assignment.
Sir, on
But
slides
I
it is
think it is
written.
not
Practice
there in the
assignment I didn't
syllabus.
do, sir, but so far there is no odd
It's
function.
there. It's given for the even function, symmetry should be around y-axis, and for
Okay, let's do it then. So you see this in your graph, like what graph we have drawn. Just quickly, I'll tell you what it is. Now, if I have to draw this like this, okay? Since, sorry, not here. My y-axis will be at 0, right? So it will be something like this. Now tell me quickly that, is this graph symmetric about y-axis?
No.
So this is, this is,
Also,
so if,
No, sir.
so if it is not symmetric about y-axis, then this is not an even function. I hope this is clear.
Yes, sir. It is a
So
odd
if it
function.
is no, if it is not even, then it not necessarily be an odd function. So now you understand this. If this thing is drawn and it is told that if it is not symmetric about the y-axis, it is not an even function. One thing is done. Okay. The other part, whether it is, how do you identify whether it is an odd function? So to identify whether this is an odd function, could you tell me, is this symmetric about the origin?
no.
No, this is not symmetric
Okay.
about the origin as well. So this is not an odd function. Clear?
Okay, yes, sir.
Origin means, do we check horizontal,
Yeah, somewhat like that.
above and below, or both sides?
For
left,
example,
right, up,
for
down?
example, you see that this one, x cube, graph of x cube. You see, this is symmetric about origin. X cube, it is just x cube. It is symmetric about origin, right? So if
Yes,
this is
sir.
the case, now if you see something like this is happening, then yes, you can say this is an odd function. But these kind of complex graph will never be an odd function. And you see, this is not symmetric about y-axis as well. Now, for example, y-axis, you can take a graph something like x square. Let's say
Y-axis we can tell easily. Both sides should be, well, y-axis is easy. Even function, odd function is I cannot judge odd.
Okay.
I'm just trouble to judging about
So
odd.
if you have problem in facing that thing, so you can just take this condition. If f of minus x is equals to minus f of x.
Okay, that way.
Okay.
That way you can always do, right? If this is happening, then you can say this is odd functions. Now, clearly, when you have this complex graphs, then of course, this is not an odd function. So I think I'm done with that as well. Now, coming to this one, p of x is one-to-one function when x belongs to this. Now, this kind of question we actually did, right?
Yes, sir.
Right?
The previous question, just one little doubt, that one what you discussed. So if f of x is equal to minus f of x, if it is not, then can we say it is even function?
No. It is not an odd function, but you
Sir,
can.
I want to make a request.
Yeah,
Hello,
please
sir.
go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, I want to make a request. Sir, can you please increase the submission time for graded assignment by 1 day, till 1 day?
I don't think
Better,
it's going to happen.
No, sir.
Nothing will be done.
You don't worry about it.
consider.
Like if you have doubt, no, just I mean for this. But I think like your graded assignment questions will be done once you know the graphics.
Sir, this for the qualifier, this term is not included, right? This up to first three assignment is included, right? I mean,
no, 4 also.
All 4 also included. But for qualifier, 3 only included, like highest mark.
Sir,
all
for
best of
qualifier,
3.
all the 4 weeks are included, right?
Yes, that is the right sentence, right.
All right.
Best or 3 for
Sir,
individual subjects?
I just wanted to ask one thing, maybe taking sideline. Any hint like which topic needs to be given more importance to for the qualifier?
So that we can discuss. We have 2 more sessions coming up. We can discuss that more there. Let's finish it up this session. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now you see, you have third question here, and I think this is something related to your graded assignment.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now
It's
given
there in practice assignment also. Same
Previous
question.
year, can you show me the previous questions graph?
Previous questions you have.
Graph. Yeah.
Okay, this thing I'll share with you. Just after the session, I'll share with you. Okay.
Yeah,
you
sure.
can make use of it. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Sure. So for this one, this is similar to your practice assignment. So can you quickly give the answer for this?
Yes, 30.
Quickly.
Right.
So where do you share this?
Just after the session.
I mean, where in the portal?
Yeah.
Did you share the week 1 to 3?
Yeah, it is there.
But I couldn't find it. Where it is?
Could someone tell? Like it is in resources.
Supplementary content. If you will see in the week at the last of week 1, 2, and 3, you will see the supplementary line in the heading. You will get it. And
Inside the weekly assignment also. I mean, the class
-30
content also.
There is only
minus
PPT slides, lecture transcripts, and graded assignment solution. Not this solved with us.
Okay, so could you tell me the answer for this quickly?
-30, sir. -30.
So 30 plus 30.
Plus 30.
30.
Plus 30.
Positive 30.
So plus 30.
Okay, so let's quickly see this, how it is done. Now, given that m, n, and p are the roots for this, then f of m will be 0, correct? F of n will be 0 and f of p will be 0, right? Because m, n, p are the roots of this polynomial. If it is root, so when you just substitute that values, it should give me 0, right? So that is what something it is done here. Now, once you substitute this, then you see that f of m plus f of n plus f of p is actually equals to 0, right? So when you add them all, it becomes 0. So now what I have done is I have individually done it this. So m cube plus n cube plus p cube plus this is 5 times this, right? Minus 30 is equals to 0. And in question, it is given that m plus n plus p is nothing but 0. So you can make that substitution here. And then you see that all you have to do is just kind of small rearrangement and you get answer as 30. Clear? Any doubt in this question?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Sir, can we generalize, sir? Means sum of root is nothing but constant. Addition of constant means.
No. You cannot say here in this particular question. We are explicitly saying this. The sum of the roots is 0.
Because x cube coefficient is 1, right? If x cube coefficient is 2 or 3, then you will have to divide by that then.
Okay, like that you were asking. Like
yeah, that's why he was asking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely not, because again depends on the equation as well.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So here, I think this ministry type of question. Is it easy? Should I skip this or go to the next question? Question 5?
Yeah, this was easy.
No, sir, the vertex of the second equation.
No, sir.
Vertex of second
Please
equation.
explain it, sir.
Please, sir, explain, sir, please.
Vertex of second equation gives that, right, sir?
Vertex of this second equation. That is something you can say, but how that is something we'll understand, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so take a minute or 2 and solve this question. So maybe at 6:16, I'll go with the solution.
Sir, meanwhile, can you take one question, sir? Just a general one.
Yeah.
What is the difference between a function and a equation, sir? Because now we are talking about quadratic function.
So see, whenever you get when equations means it's something equated to something.
Correct.
Right? So when you are given an expression, let's say x square plus 2 and when I equate it to 0 or like I equate it to 5 or like any other thing, that becomes an equation. Clear?
Yeah. That is the basic thing I am understanding. But why we are using that f of x equals always function? Why
so this is just simply to say that this is a function and it is dependent on x. This is just the indication of that. That's all.
So which is domain, which is codomain, sir? Which is domain?
Your domain is x.
Codomain is
f of
so
x.
left hand side. The f of x is always domain.
The x is always your domain here, and codomain is f of x value. Yeah.
That's why.
Again, no, f of x is your range value, but codomain is something you it is something been told.
Yeah. It makes sense. Okay, x is okay. F of x is range, correct. X is domain.
Okay, let's solve this. Can you give me the answer for this quickly? Only 5 response as of now.
12.
Yes, sir. 12.
1, 2, 12.
12, sir.
Done?
So what we need to say if they are intersecting, right?
Sorry?
We need to say these roads are intersecting, right?
12 is the answer, sir. 12.
Do any of you need time? I mean, of course, it can't be done in 1 or 2 minutes, as some of you already know how to solve these kind of questions. So
you can directly go to explain. We don't need those who have already done. They don't need time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, sir.
Please
and those
explain.
and they don't know.
I get it. So you see that maybe like I can just give you the explanation for solving these questions, right? So you see that here what is being told in this question is you want to connect 3 aspirational districts, right? And those districts are at intersection of these routes, R1 and R2, and the equation for R1 and R2 is given. How do you get the intersection point? By equating the 2 equations. So that is something the solution says, right? So now see, 2 roads are connected when f of x is equals to g of x, right? Right? So this will give us the x coordinate of 3 aspirational districts, all the 3 aspirational districts. So when you solve this, when you equate them, and when you rearrange it, you see when you equate those 2 functions, and what I'm doing in the next step is I'm just bringing this to the other side, left hand side, and then I get this big expression, because you see that x minus 11 and x minus 13 is common to both. So I can just take out that as a common, and the one which is written in the flower bracket is something which is left, right? So when you solve this, when you expand this and solve, you get x minus 12 the whole square. Okay. So once you get this, then what? So you can just simply equate to 0. And when will these be 0? At these 3 x values, right? At x equals to 11 or 12 or 13, right?
I have a doubt here. Instead of equating them together, if we solve the x intersection separately for both the equation, we get 11 and 13 in both the case, and we can still say that they are intersecting, right? Because x value for both the equation is same.
That is,
but we don't get 12.
That's what I'm saying. 11 and 13 is like the intersection point of both the functions. And in the question, it clearly says, if I take you to the question, what will be the x coordinate of the third aspirational district if the first 2 are at x intercept of f of x and g of x? Now, x intercepts of f of x and g of x, right? So now you see g of x is a quadratic function and it has got 2 roots, right? So its x intercepts are 2. Similarly, the other 2 could be, I mean, it says the intersection. I mean, this is since the districts are at x intercepts. When they are connected. So here in the question itself, it clearly says that at x intercept, f of x and g of x are intersecting.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? So 2 roots, so you got it from here directly. That means you got the x intercept or x coordinate of 2 districts, but you are not sure of third district. Just to get the third district, you do something like this. Okay, from where
when
you
we
got
equalize both equation, x minus 11 appears on both sides. Can we not strike out?
You can do that as well, but it's just you want to solve it, so I've just delete here.
Yeah, because when we strike out,
you what happens is usually like here it is doable. Like you can say, okay, I'm striking it out, and then I get the answers. That is perfectly fine. But there might be some situations wherein it's not good to cancel out the roots when you are finding the roots, right? So you should avoid doing that.
Okay.
Right? Because you are asked to find roots.
I'm not able to visualize the intersection of this two equation which is intercepting x.
Correct.
So I just go with the mathematical way. That's the reason.
Yeah. Simply you can just go with that. Yeah. So now that is perfectly fine. So now from here we got 3 x-intercepts, and as one person was telling, like since it was giving that these are at x-intercepts of f of x and g of x, and from there the same concept I have used. It is the x-intercepts are 11 and 13. Then clearly what the leftover, that is 12, must be the third aspirational district, or the x coordinate of third aspirational district, right? So that is how we will be able to solve this question. So those who still have doubt can actually see these slides, because if I take up more doubts here, we'll lose more time, right?
I have this one question.
Mm-hmm.
I have this one question. You have said that the x coordinate of the third aspirational district is x is equal to 12. That's the x coordinate. But what are the exact coordinates? Is it also on the x-axis?
No. It is not at the x-axis. You can substitute this value 12 in any of these equation and see what is the y value.
Okay.
So right. Actually, I thought of giving that as a question, but I stopped it because you will get some decimal value. So I do not want you to get it.
So here, how we got x equals 12, sir? Can you go back to the previous slide? I just
here.
X minus 11. Okay. But there we have minus 1 as constant is there. Huh? So it doesn't, minus 1 is constant is there.
For which? Minus 1.
Yeah. Minus 1 into x minus 11 is there. No? G of x equals minus 1. So that constant will
constant is doing nothing. No, it doesn't do anything. When you equate it to 0, what happens is even if it was any constant like minus 5, you just throw it to the other side. Yeah,
that's why it is
yeah. Right. So that is all done. So let's do one SSC type question, okay, and then we can end this session.
Sir,
and I can take up some questions.
Previous problem, last conclusion, what is that? Still we are saying that the two intersection is then certainly okay, got it. Fine. Move on.
Sir, actually I solved this question in graph.
You can do that.
But I got answer 13x. Actually 11 already they intersected. So on 13 again they intersected due to third district.
So you see in the question itself it says like 2 of the districts are at x intercepts of f of x and g of x. So you see there is an and condition. It should be x intercepts of both, correct? And 2 of the districts are there, so that will be the third. So first 2 are there, then third will be somewhere in middle that, or like somewhere else, like, isn't it? Okay. So now let's go with this problem, that is a SSC type problem, and then we can end this periodic thing.
Sir, I asked one doubt at the beginning of the session that the qualifier round one question.
I'll take up that. No worries, I'll take up that. Once this is done, I'll take up that.
So similar question is there in graded, wherein they have asked to solve the SSC. The solution was quite easy to understand from the tutorial, but when in the graded question they have mentioned minus x, the equation is quite difficult. So do we need to solve the entire equation?
No. You see, the equations will be difficult to see, but when you substitute the value of x, it turns out to be very easy, right?
Yes, it's very easy.
You just put the value, it will be like 1. When you put 1, becomes the expression becomes 0. When you put 2, you get some very nice value, like not big numbers. It's very much doable. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great logic. Thank you. Otherwise, I was really getting into mess thinking that do all this equation.
Do not do that. See, usually what happens is you'll see a question looking complex, but when you go solving it, right, you'll find it very easy to solve. But that is always, the question has to look tough, no? Isn't it? If it looks tough, then you'll be like,
but it has definitely got an easy logic to solve it.
Yeah.
No.
More of solve with us sessions.
Somebody is saying no. Is it?
N is -2, sir.
No, sir. It's like a.
Can you please explain this?
No with
Reading the
lot of,
question is very difficult.
that no is with lot of.
Answer is very easy.
Hello. Yeah, right.
I think we can guess from the table right here. 0. Can we guess?
You will become more smarter as you do more SSC problems. You will actually understand the mind of a framer of that question in a way, because he has some boundaries or she has some boundaries, like what they have to frame the questions, and they cannot go beyond that because of time constraints. So if you are smart enough and if you understand from his perspective or her perspective, then you will understand that, okay, I really don't have to do SSC also. You will come up. You'll understand this as you go further. So let's do this. I got 10 responses already. So maybe like again, it is not doable in like 1-2 minutes if I give you. So here I'll just quickly explain you this question. Okay. A polynomial fit for the data given in the table is recorded by your student. So a polynomial equation is given and a fit data is given to you. Right. Now you have to find the values of n till one decimal place. Okay. So that the SSE will be minimum. So all you have to do is just find the SSE. So to find SSE, what is important is you need a data and you need an equation. When that both is given, you just have to substitute it in the formula. Once you substitute in the formula, you get another equation and you make an analysis saying that, okay, this will be minimum at this value, right? So that is something, the approach, right? So you have a SSE formula, right? So you see at SSE formula, X and Y values are given, right? And then all you have to do is just substitute in the formula and you get something equations like this, right? So you get -2 minus n the whole square, and you see it is repeating every point, right? Do not generalize here for your end term exam saying that, okay, if I got this expression, necessarily it has to be same for all. You might find something similar in your graded assignment, but do not generalize for the quiz because the framer will always understand, right, that learners are the students are thinking in this way, so let's change the intermediate equations and they might trick you there, right? I have done this, but that's what I'm saying you. So do not go. You have to really solve this. But you can always keep on upper hand saying that, okay, this is happening. Then yeah, if somewhere near values are getting, then yes, you're going on the right track.
Sir, this equation is always the formula is in the given form, or is there any different form? Because from the line equation y is equal to mx plus c, I see there is a little deviation from that formula.
No, it is same formula only. It's just that y minus y cap, or that is y minus in your in that equation you will have y minus mx minus c the whole square, right? So mx minus c was nothing but your y cap, isn't it? That is basically an expression of nothing but y equals to mx plus c, right?
Right.
So here y is not equals, y is here, it's not mx plus c, but rather it is x cube plus 3x square plus n. That's all. Right. All you have to understand is it was like y minus y cap the whole square. Y cap was nothing but mx plus c. Clear? Over here, your y cap is nothing but this expression. That's all. Okay, so just solve, just see this. Let me know if you have any doubt, and just give me a minute. I need to connect my charger.
So can you please show the question again?
I think sir left. The question is simple. I mean, you can see the equation over there at the top. Y minus y equals to x cube plus 3x square, something, that equation. And the points are given -3
x cube plus 3x square plus n.
You have to get the.
You have to put the values, x values -3, -2, -1, 0.
Okay.
And in the table they are given f of x like I think It's like
Yes,
first
sir.
one.
Is equals to y. Fx is equals to y.
Yeah, and they given the values are showing in the table: -2, 2, 0, and -2.
Okay, thank you.
That's a very easy question.
Still, sir returns. Can anyone help me in understanding the odd and even? How to find the odd or even the polynomial?
We just calculate the degree of the x coordinates, no? In this equation,
Now,
x.
what is your doubt? Say, if you take the equation of parabola, what is the degree of parabola?
Could be 2 or even number, any even number.
Yeah. So you understand that, right?
Yeah, even odd I understand, but for a whole as a polynomial, how can I understand?
So if it is a multiplication, then you have to add the individual degrees of those.
Okay, so if the highest degree is odd, so odd polynomial. If the highest degree is even, so I mean
even. Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, correct, right.
So whenever there would be a parabola, it will always have an even degree. That's what it meant.
Yeah,
right,
it is
right.
like
For parabola, it's always
2, 4, 6, 8 like that it will go, and for odd 3, 9 like that it will go. 3, 9, 7 something odd it will go.
I think our base understanding is that parabola. We have to start from that and then we can proceed. Anything we can just fall back to understand, okay, what is it in parabola, and we can correlate, and I think we can draw the graph. And
yeah, right.
Parabola will be only up to x square, right? If it is above x to the power 4, it is not parabola, shape like that, but it will not be parabola.
But in nature will be like parabola.
Like parabola, yeah.
Yeah, because
parabola is only up to x square.
x4 you can write x square whole square.
So next question.
Okay, so this is done, right? You understood?
Yes, sir. We understood.
Yes. All right. So this is
I
all
just
for
have
this.
a very, I mean, it's a very silly question, but just for the ease of calculation, the value that we, the x, y values were given, and after solving the function, putting x values, we get y1. So it doesn't matter if we subtract y from y1 or from y1 or from y1 y. Because eventually we are going to square it. So
Yeah,
it will be
exactly.
the same thing, right?
Yeah, it will be the same thing, right?
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. So all right. So I think
One last question. The math session. When is the other two session? You told that 2 more session will be there before the qualifier.
So you will have this like
It
one will be on
calendar.
yeah, it will be in the calendar. So one will be on I guess it will be on Wednesday, and another will be on one will be on Tuesday and another will be on Thursday. So
Sir, when will be your next class, sir? Will it be in the evening times?
Next class, the next session will be doubt clearing session.
No, particularly your session, sir.
Mine will be, the next session will be revision session.
The 4 weeks conclusion you will give.
Yeah.
That will be evening or morning, sir?
Wait, I'll just mute all.
Thank you, sir.
I'll just mute all.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. So those who want to leave can leave. Those who need some help in some other questions you had doubt,
yes, sir.
maybe you can ask me here, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the question is, the qualifier, the question that I was talking about.
The question, yes, please.
The question is the cable of a uniformly loaded suspension bridge hangs in the form of a parabola. The bridge is in the form of parabola.
Okay.
The roadway, which is horizontal and 150 meter long, is supported by 2 vertical wires attached to the cable. The longest wire being 50 meter long and the shortest wire being 5 meter long. Find the length of a supporting wire attached to the roadway 50 meter from the middle. 50 meter from the middle. Find the length of the supporting wire, which is 50 meter from the middle.
Okay.
I think
so. Okay, so let's discuss that. So let's understand that how is that thing done. So maybe just give me a minute. I'll just open another page.
Yeah. Did you understand the question, or I should?
No. Yeah, I think you will have to tell me again. So maybe as you are telling it, I'll try to redraw it here, the figure.
Yeah, there's one figure already given in the question.
Okay, so in the question it says what? Like you have been given a figure. And
Yeah.
Just a minute. So you have been given a figure, something like this, is it?
Something wait. No. The opposite.
Horizontal
This. Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah. Right.
And was this touching here?
No.
Touching? No, right?
Slightly.
It was not touching. It was slightly above the vertex.
Slightly above. Yes.
Okay.
And so the horizontal distance
Hmm.
is 150 meter.
This thing is 150
This is
meters.
150 meters.
Hmm.
And the lowest, the minimum.
This one.
The vertex. Yeah. Is 5 meter.
Okay, this is 5 meters.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And the rope, which is connecting the parabola to the horizontal line is 50 meters.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is 50 means this is nothing but this is 50 meters, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so this is something I don't know what, but 50. This is also I don't know what, but 50, right?
This will be 150 50, right? If we consider this.
Okay, so this is not going to be no. You are telling this entire to be 50, right?
Yeah.
So then this will be 50 only, no?
No, the points I'm talking about.
If it is 0, left hand side, if it is origin, C.
Okay. Let's not go there. This is 50 as it now. Okay, 50 meters. Okay, yeah. Then go ahead.
So they have asked only this thing is given, and they have asked find the length of a supporting wire. So this 5 meter is the supporting wire.
This one.
This all there are many supporting wires like this. This one is 5 meter, and there are many other supporting wire except.
Okay. So which one's length they are asking?
Find the length of a supporting wire attached to the roadway 50 meter from the middle.
50 meters from the middle. So this was middle or something, right?
Yeah.
So 50 meters from the middle means okay. So if I have to consider this as 0, 0. Okay, if I consider this as 0, 0, this is going to be what? 0, 150, and this is going to be this is going to be what? It's going to be 75, right? So 75, 5.
Sir,
And
it would be 150, 0, right?
150, 0 where?
That one. Yeah.
So this is going to be 150, 0. Thank you. And now you're telling 50 meters this side, right? Or this side?
Or this side, exactly.
Okay. So now if this is 50 meters, let's say this side, then it's going to be what?
25.
So this is going to be 25, 0 or
some value, right?
Some values. And if you want to find out the length, basically you have to know this value, right? So basically, if you know this equation, let's say if this equation of this parabola is f of x, right? And in f of x, if you substitute f of 25, will definitely give you this value.
Yes.
So this is.
I didn't get where did 25 come from?
No, from 0, 0.
Right. Now, the moment you consider 0, 0, this is 150, 0. This entire length was 150. That is why this is 150, 0. This part. So this is what?
Middle.
This is middle. This is nothing but 75. Now you are telling the supporting cable or the supporting cable is 50 meters either this side or that side, right? So if that is the case, then
75 minus 50. 25.
Yeah, 75 minus 50. So that will turn out to be 25.
Okay.
Right. And now once you get this equation of f of x, just substitute that 25 into this. So that will give you this part. That means that will give you this height from here to here. So this is what you wanted to find out. So you can find out.
Excuse me, sir. How to get the equation, sir, f of x?
So that is again clear. See, you know the vertex, right?
Yeah, vertex.
You know the vertex.
Right.
And you know 2 points. You know the so you basically know 2 points. So if I have to say that f of x is equals to ax square plus bx plus c, then you see your c is what? C is 50. Clear, right? Then you can find your ax plus b. You know that your vertex is given minus b by 2a. Minus b by 2a is nothing but what? 75.
75.
Right. So this is one equation. And another equation you might get it from substituting these values. Let's say this values you substitute it here. So when you substitute this value, you get some equation like f of 5. So when you substitute this as 5, so you get 75. So this will be 25a plus 25b plus 50. Now you have one equation, and from here you have another equation. So you have two equations and you have two variables. Solve this, you get ab values, right? So you got this f of x. Clear?
Sir, how you took the value of c to be 50, sir?
It is a y-intercept. So
y-intercept.
So if this was 50,
Given,
right?
They have also given.
You only told me, right? This is 50, right? So now if I have to draw this, the moment I took this as 0, 0, and this is 1.
Okay, yeah, sure. I got it, sir. I got it.
Sir, after the vertex minus b by 2y, we got 75. This is one equation. And the other equation can you do a bit slower?
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. So here what am I doing is I'm using this. I'm substituting this value to this equation.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Where I know what is my c. Isn't it? The moment you substitute that, you get another equation. Here.
Okay. 25a square, right?
25?
25, the thing is that 25a plus 25b.
So x, no? So 75. So it will be 75 square. 75 square a plus 75 b plus 50. Yeah.
Plus 50. Okay.
But why do you say that is equal to 75? Because they are f of x
is equal
not
to 5, not 75. This is equal to 5.
Exactly.
How did you get your
y?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. So anybody any doubt on activity? You had some doubt.
Sir, can you please explain stretch factor once?
Stretch factor.
Yes.
Sir.
Okay, I'll just quickly tell him what the stretch factor is. F of x is equals to, let's say in our graphing, you saw my graphing question, the explanation.
Yes.
So now you see the stretch factor tells you what, like whatever the leading coefficient value is, leading coefficient negative, positive, that is fine. But what that value is, like, you know, if I have to tell you this is x plus 1 and x plus 2, and if I have to draw the graph for this, it's going to be something like at -1 and at -2. So maybe I can do this -2 and this is -1, and this graph something goes like this. Now if I give some values, let's say 0.1, how will the graph look like? So it will shrink a bit. If I give it as 1000 here, what will happen? This will go a bit down and it will be more steeper. Clear?
Correct.
So what is happening? The roots are those same, but this thing is stretching, isn't it? And this stretching is determined by the leading coefficient value.
Okay.
Understood?
Okay.
Yeah. The value of the leading coefficient is your stretch factor. Clear?
Okay.
Yeah.
So higher the stretch factor, the more steeper will be the curve.
Sir, in the same question.
Yes.
Parabola, what you have drawn. Can I write this as a into b equals c?
Sorry, what?
Ax squared plus bx plus c is f of x, right?
F of x is equals to ax squared
plus bx plus c. Can I write c equals a into b?
C equals a into b.
A into b. Can I write that as an equation? Because generally when the c is the.
So you are coming up with the general equations, right? When you say that x square plus a plus b x plus ab.
Plus ab.
Plus here or minus? Is it minus?
Minus. Here it is minus.
Okay. So now you have to understand this. What is your AB, right?
Yeah, AB equals C.
You have to bring this in this form. And then you have to generalize and say that your C is A into B. Right?
So divided by...
it won't go in the same way, right? So some changes.
I have some changes.
But your C is nothing but, you see, it turns out to be... C is your y-intercept, that is, I think, easier. But when the expressions is in this way, you cannot directly come and say like this is the case. But you have to make an assumption that this is coming from here.
Okay, means I have to always divide by A and make the x squared coefficient 1. Then I can use this logic.
Then you can use some more. Yeah. All right.
So in the qualifier exam, whether this kind of problem will be given or short kind of question will be given, wherein
It was asked in the qualifier, no? I think this time the qualifier is a bit easier.
Oh, any specific reason, sir? I'm glad to know
time
that.
is less, na? Time is less. That is the reason. And COVID discount also they are given.
Sir, can I ask one question?
Don't want to take sideline. Last time I
No,
applied,
sir.
okay?
Yeah.
And I had a narrow kind of very narrow.
No, sir.
margin
This
actually.
I also
could not
face.
qualify, okay? And working, so time is a competitor for me. It's
Actually, this
very
you
tough
have
thing.
to. This you have to consider, sir. You have to give little extra time and reduce the mark. For people who wants to take extra time, no, you evaluate for 80% of the correct marks. Because I also 3 months I lost because of 1 mark, 2% I lost. Only 1 mark. So
It's even difficult to sit for 4 hours at a stretch.
and I work from 9 to 9.
Giving more hints about the qualifier, sir. That will help.
No, the thing is that if you increase the time, you give an option. You increase the time and you evaluate only for 80%. You give that will be fair for working people. And who is in
no, I think
academics,
time,
let them take the normal time. You evaluate 100%, so that it is fair for them also.
Sir, whatever we see, the decision might have been already taken. Sir might not be able to change the policies for that. So
policies we have to tell they will change.
No, he can take that message as a feedback. No?
They will.
Yeah, we do always have this internal meeting.
Let them reject, but you have to tell.
Sir, only request is, I feel for the working professional, only in the qualifier.
Sir, for working professionals, it's
because it's difficult for people
you have
to
to
do
give
that,
time
managing the
and
time.
you reduce the mark, no problem. But we
At
want
least
to
below
want to
30
pass
years,
and go
above
further.
30 years, if you consider
You cannot
something,
give
that
this
will be
responsibility.
good.
For me, 2003, I did my graduation. Okay, now all the grade skills are getting again deactivated.
Actually, policies and all, it is we have to little make it flexible. Means there is no competition in this, na.
Actually,
The course needs to take 2 months, at least it needs 2 months for us to understand the concept. It takes time.
Once you qualify, you can take 1 subject, 2 subjects. But for
Because you have to do half and half job.
3 subjects.
No. Actually, the concept, just one moment, the concept is not about only the qualifying, okay? It is also about whether we can cope with the course, okay?
So
even though you take 3 months.
We have to understand the concept, then only we can go for the qualifier. Then it is useful for us.
Once you qualify, you can take 1 subject, one subject. But
no, instead of calculations, too many calculations, decimal numbers, this many calculations in statistics.
Particularly
statistics. Too much calculations. Too much calculations.
Okay, I think we whatever is
because this is real experience. 1 mark. 1 mark I lost it 4 months, and after that COVID came.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, so all of you, like I do.
It was a great session with you to end it all. You really explained it quite well for even the people who did not know anything what is maths. So thank you, Vicky sir, for really solving a.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for helping us to draw the graph.
Your session is really helpful. Can we, in the calendar, can we know who is going to take so that we can ask? See, sometimes we have to ask prior permission in the weekdays to attend some sessions. We can it be published in the calendar? Who will be the
who will be the trainer? You want to say?
Instructor. Yeah, instructor.
So that we don't want to miss your class. Means for me, I can relate with your style. So for others, somebody else maybe.
Yes, sir. It's really hard to get time from our daily.
It would be really helpful for us to get to know that who's instructor for the session, so that we early join the session.
See, YouTube is always there, but the thing is that it won't be interactive. That is the main issue. That is the drawback of YouTube listening to. But this is more interactive, and we are able to catch.
इसका कहने का मतलब Vicky sir is the best for maths
No, no, I'm
teacher.
not aiding anything.
No,
And
no.
also one other
I
thing is
mean, this
that
is an
lot of energy in the
appreciation. You should
class.
appreciate the people. You should appreciate the people. You are
It will be demotivating for
100%
few
true
others.
that.
But what I'm trying to tell is,
It's not
you will give it to.
demotivating. It's just like we like the way he teach. That's it.
That's always there. But if we publish,
Sir, you know, like
question.
after listening to this, I feel like, you know, let's take this session like again, right?
Yeah.
Take for another 1 or 2 hours.
I know, but
I think our appreciation has given you an extra dose of charging.
We are also exhausted.
Yeah.
So actually, we want a few short session for this bijective, surjective one
Okay, so you
function
know
on two
what
function,
we are.
which is confusing.
Yeah, I get it. So you know what we are doing is like we have some pre-recorded revision session videos, and we might be releasing them or like tomorrow or something. So those things will be handy on basis of this what topic you told right now.
In maths, rest everything is okay. Just this one on two is troubling me a lot, really.
Sir, one question that as I was asking, which other topics should be given importance and how we should prepare? Okay. And you as you are telling that it will be easy little. So will it be more multiple kind of short questions or how it will be?
Sir, if you have related to
by easy, what I mean is you have less of intermixing questions. So that is
okay.
Yeah,
I get it. Like it will
but
be
do not get carried away because you see, you find the questions easy here, though you know how to solve it. But when you are at real time giving exam, even you miss out with something, even though it is an easy problem, and you take something else and then you lose it.
Yes, comprehension is becoming important. We are thinking something, and that's
it is really challenging. Yeah, and you have a lot of NAT questions. See, and when there are NAT questions, it's like it's not you have to choose between 4 or like you don't have to. So you have infinite possibilities, right? Even if you solve and you get the answers, you might enter the wrong values. Even that is a possibility.
Yes,
you really have to
Calculations
be very
go
cautious.
wrong.
Yeah.
So one more important thing, will we be allowed to carry calculator there or will we be doing the calculator?
No.
Online calculator will be there.
Yeah, we will have a virtual calculator.
Yeah, that would be good. Otherwise, doing calculations by hand would mess up everything.
Sir,
Do we will have that Desmos in those PCs where we
we will not have. That's why I'm saying just do this.
You can't access anything apart from that.
I'm pretty sure.
Is there any short crash course for all these courses so that we can
Especially
solve
for
it in
sets,
3 hours or 5 hours or
Sets,
like
is it?
4 hours?
Especially for sets. I'm
Especially
really
for
poor at sets.
stats and maths, I would like
and
to
functions.
The revision video which will be releasing soon.
In maths,
Not revision,
It is
sir.
a
Actually, you
revision.
had taken a session for sets as well as bijective and one-to-one. Really, I could not understand. And sets, though, I'm very poor in that.
Okay. So
How
you
can
might
I?
be sets,
Yeah.
no? Sets
Yes.
means for sets, what I would say is one thing is just stick on to the definition, and other thing is like the set theory questions wherein you will be using those Venn diagram, right?
Yes, regarding with regard to Venn diagram.
Okay, so maybe in my next session I will take a question on Venn diagram, and so you can just stick on
And
to
the formula regarding that, and the formula regarding that, everything I'm really poor in that.
Sir, as you said that it will be more straightforward, does it mean like you are telling that set theory? Now, set theory is sometimes applied with the coordinate geometry or this whatever we are discussing now. Let's
sets
say
is something you can always mix with everything, you know, like
yeah.
And that mixing is something we don't consider as mixing at all.
Okay, so that is a potato kind of you can apply.
You were bisecting things, so I just told you like.
Can you please tell something about MSQ questions? Because these MSQ questions, if 2 is correct and at least 1 is wrong, then we are getting score ending up with 0. Can you please
MSQ,
explain the scoring method?
So you what happens is like, let's say there are 4 options given to you, of which there are 2 options or 3 options correct. Okay. There is only 1 option which is incorrect. So what happens is, so let's say you have chose all 3 correct options and you happen to choose the other one, the wrong option. If you do that, you loses all your marks. So the condition is
sometimes 4 out of 4 answers also correct, right?
Sometimes, yes.
All options also correct.
Sir, in that case, they're giving partial marks. In the given example, I think if out of 4, 3 is correct, means 0.75 we get.
Yeah, one term means full mark.
Based on the number
best
of
thing
points.
what you do, so what you can do is, like, say, whatever you know, like when you have been given a question of MSQ, so whichever options you feel which is right, just stick that. Do not keep it in your mind that, you know, like, what if all 4 options are correct and you happen to lose marks, right? So do not go with that. You might have some questions which has only 3 options correct.
Can we judge based on the points how many questions?
No,
may
you cannot do
be... No,
you cannot do that. Yeah.
So it is
Sir,
only
actually,
applicable
I
for
have a
MSQ,
doubt.
right? This if we give wrong answer, then entire thing will be taken out. It is applicable only for MSQ, right?
MSQ, yes.
And
Sir,
the
actually,
NAT.
I had a
Just
doubt.
1 second. NAT and this numerical and
only we will enter NIT.
Enter NAT, you have to enter the value.
Enter only, right or wrong?
No. That is a free text, I understand, number answer. But MSQ, multiple selection and multiple choice, both this scenario is applicable. Like if I have provided any wrong answer, the entire thing is 0.
Yeah.
Multiple choice, only one you will choose. You have only one option to choose multiple choice. In multiple selection, you have to select.
But you see, you will not have any options with which is multiple choice. Even if it is multiple choice, you will be given as multiple
one choice.
select.
Yeah, one
only.
No. Even if it is multiple choice question, you will be given as multiple select question.
Yeah. Everything will be multiple selection.
Everything will be multiple selection, even if it is multiple choice question.
But in GA and the rest of the exams now, these assignments, it's only one choice, multiple choice.
I don't know. I think it shouldn't be.
Multiple choice won't be there.
Sir, how much weightage will be there?
You will not have multiple choice. You will have multiple select.
Yeah,
that is only multiple
numerical answer. You should calculate and type it.
Sir, how much weightage will be there for week 4, sir?
Week 4.
I've seen one more thing. Like if answer is like 8.32 and we only write 8.30, it is, you know, saying it's wrong. I think
that is something we should look for. But I think when those kind of values are given, the range of values will always be given.
Yeah,
maths is okay. Comparatively, maths is okay. In stats, this problem is coming. Maths is much better.
Yeah, maths is better in stats.
Maths is manageable. Maths is manageable.
Yes.
Stats
in stats, even 0.1 also, it's giving wrong answer.
Stat you will clear easily because the content is very less for the qualifier. Okay. Just
in week 4 only will be a problem.
And I think the framer of the questions, like the instructors, are really struggling to frame questions like what new questions we can come on. You know, that is some insights I'm telling you. It's because you know the topics are limited in stats for your qualifier. So what more you can come up with questions, right? But here in maths, it's not the same, right?
Sir,
you can always.
People who wrote
maybe that's why in GA they kept all the calculations. In stats now, if you see grade this week for GA, calculate variance, covariance, correlation coefficient. Why all these calculations are needed in GA? Why we need to keep the calculation? Everyone knows formulas, right? Everyone who can see formula, they can calculate. Why it looks like unnecessary actually. I don't know why.
I think see,
I'll intimate them, like, you know,
at some point you will apply.
Really, our formula is there. We have 6 formulas. Everybody who see formula, just they can calculate and they will keep right. Even a 10th class student can calculate.
Right.
So it's just because the first 4 weeks content of stats is pretty easy, but then as the difficulty level goes up, you'll find the questions very challenging.
No, that is okay. Then you can select only one subject. But if you are writing all the 4 subjects,
after qualifying, we can select. Now
you can select only one subject. Maths and English you can combine.
But now we have to study.
Yeah. For qualifier, I think your single challenger is math.
No, like that we are thinking, but the challenge will be in statistics.
English will be much easier.
I think everyone has a different experience. In my experience, even the 4 weeks of 4 subjects was still easier as compared to when you start preparing and giving quiz 2 and quiz 3 and the
We'll
final
decide
exam.
after mock test. After mock test, we are able to know how it
So you
will
mean
be.
to say that quiz 2 and quiz 3 is
Yeah, can be more difficult. Especially, I did not take maths last time. I took stats and CT, and the stats quiz 2 paper was very difficult.
Yeah, quiz 2 was really tough. And even
maths
CT
was
also.
busy. Even maths was busy.
Sir,
I mean,
last
that is a
time-
reason. You know why?
The last time I felt CT was very difficult. It was nowhere related to the practice session.
Oh, I
Now also CT GAs are very difficult. Now week 3 GA was.
Solve with will be helpful in graded questions. CT for CT.
All right.
So actually I had a problem. So I not a problem. It's a very silly doubt, and I was just trying to ask you from the last 30 minutes, but
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
The stat session is there now. It will going to start 7 o'clock. I think we
Yeah,
all forget.
you should
Let her
actually
ask
go
that
ahead.
question. She's asking some question.
Okay, so let's. Yeah, you can ask.
Okay. So it's a very silly thing that I received this mail. It was like something called if you attend the sessions, right, like the live sessions and all, you'll get some extra marks. What was about? What was that about? I didn't get that.
Okay. Actually, even I don't get that, but you are from qualifier or term batch.
No, I'm from qualifier.
So you don't worry about it. It is not for you.
Okay, thank God. Because sir, I also am a professional. Okay, I work and I can't attend all the live sessions.
It is bonus mark. It will not affect your original marks.
Yeah,
It will not
thank God.
affect your original.
I would be getting minus marking if that was.
No, don't worry
timing
about
should
it.
be after 7. If we cannot accommodate, you make it.
Of course.
5
You know,
o'clock.
like this is something one cannot put. We cannot compel you for doing this, right? I mean, the moment you open something
Without doing, we
courses
cannot,
like this, and you include working professional, and you force them to take the classes, it's something can't be done.
So you
That is
can
why
take it early morning, na 5 o'clock, something like that.
I mean,
No, what
So,
we
but
are
it's
ready. World has
really
become
not
24 hours.
fair.
Some days I'm working till night 2, 3. Okay.
Correct.
So night is morning is ending for me. And
So
I'll start again
sometimes
10.
there are foreign clients, so we have to work night
See,
shift.
I work.
Okay.
I work in a construction industry. I have to be there at 9 o'clock. I come back at around 9:30, and I have to climb 12 this one stairs. Floors I have to climb. But if you give at least 20-30 minutes extra and reduce the marks, it will be helpful. So means whatever, because sometimes by 1 mark, 2 mark, we have to lose 3 months, 6 months. That is not correct.
But I think
you make it the marks also dynamic with respect to time. Now you are
Excuse me, sir. A small
that is something we can really think about. Dynamic marks with the timing.
Timings, because if you allocate 1.5 hours, you 100 marks.
Sir, also one more thing.
30 minutes,
a small doubt.
Sir, one more thing is that the week 5 submission is on 2nd Feb and our exam is on 3rd. I'll be traveling from one city to another.
Oh.
I think it's 6th Feb, right?
It's 6th Feb.
2nd.
So you know,
The same thing, sir. The graded one already we are preparing for qualifier. Then this graded assignment 5, 6, and all these are. Is this compulsory to submit, sir?
Yeah, like you will have some best of some assignments, like best of. I mean,
7.
Best
of
9
7.
assignments, sir. 9.
Yeah,
there is one for
best of
appearing.
7 for GA.
Yeah, so it's something like that. You have to follow that. So even if you, let's say, week 5 you cannot attempt, but then you have to attempt the other weeks thoroughly.
Okay,
right?
total how many
9.
9. So out
9.
of best of 7 they will.
Best 7 will be
best of 5 for intern. Best for 7 for grading.
Yes, this time even 10% of the best 7 graded assignment marks will be added to the final marks.
Yeah. So I think like we can end the session now, and those who want.
But anyway, thank you, sir. Please mention in the.
Sure. I'll
who
do
will be
this.
the instructor, sir, for the next. And
that is something I don't think so. It will be allowed because.
Okay.
Yeah,
when will be your next session, sir? At least can you tell them?
Yeah, I'll be taking this revision session for your qualifier. So that
means evening session, sir.
And sir, you told other day there
will be in the
some,
morning.
Test exam. When that would be the test exam?
Test exam is on. I think it's on Monday evening, maybe like 7 to 8 or 8 to 9, something like this.
All subject they will conduct, right?
Maths. You will have for different thing. For each subject, you will have different timing. But
before that, you're going to take a session, sir?
No. After that, there will be one session. So that will be your doubt clearing session on your whatever you have gone through or like whatever doubts you have. So get it cleared that time. And then in your then the revision session will be very structured again. It's just because I will have to cover all the weeks all together once.
Sir, this whoever wrote the qualifier exam earlier, I think they cleared the qualifier with less content, because I see many of these content
only
now,
in maths. Only in maths.
Yeah, maths.
Only in maths. They are different.
No, but
Other subjects are not.
The content was same last for last qualifier.
No, I'm not saying about the last qualifier. Earlier, whoever wrote, they would have written with less content, and the syllabus was
maths.
lesser.
It was less. Maths only.
Okay. So anyhow, let's see that. So see you in the next session.
So I have.
Thank you very much, sir. Your session is very useful. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Yeah.
So I have a question. Yeah, this is very silly, but I just wanted. I was a little confused even after I went through the video, because there's a lot of reading that I've been doing for multiple things. So I just wanted to confirm, few things with you. So when we talk about monomials, even a constant is a monomial, right?
Right.
And then can we consider it as a polynomial?
Constant polynomial. It becomes
a constant. Okay. And something like x square by root 2. Can that be also a polynomial, given that the root is okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for polynomial, all you have to see is like the x to the power of n. That n should be basically a natural number.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right. One last thing. 8 by x.
Natural number meaning it is non-negative, right? It is always
non-negative.
Positive. Yeah.
So zero also.
Yeah. Zero means it will become a constant polynomial.
Constant.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So 8 by 1. So 8 by x will also not be a polynomial, right?
8 by x is not a polynomial, because that will be written as x to the power of minus 1.
Minus 1. Yeah, just 1. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. So all right, so see you in the next session.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
sir.
Good
night.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Nice session.
Thank you.